I'm in GT, my brother is Broly. Chapter 251 Azer's silver form, disappointed Beerus. At this moment, Azer's low roar resounded. Looking at the reputation, it can be seen that after being abused by Boluolian for a period of time, he can't bear it anymore. With a low voice, Aize's whole body glowed with white and silver brilliance. In the next second, Aize entered the silver mode, and the anger of the whole person soared 1,000 times at this moment. At this moment, Aize's combat power directly reached the level of more than 200 rang. In an instant, Aize raised his hand to block Boluolian's attacking fist, and his eyes flashed coldly. Don't think that the master's younger brother can be unscrupulous. 99. You bastard, I will make you repay the damage you have caused me. As he spoke, Aize burst out violently, and with a pull of his right hand, the figure of Bororian was pulled down to the area in front of him. Immediately afterwards, Azer slammed a punch directly on the lower abdomen of Boluolian. 35. With a groan in his mouth, a smear of blood gushed out from the corner of Boluolian's mouth. Under the disparity of absolute power, he could not bear Azer's attack at this moment, but he didn't let it go, and after a low growl, he raised his fist and attacked Aize again. In this regard, Aize was not afraid at all, and raised his fist to meet directly. The next second, the two huge fists collided together. With a loud bang, Aize and Boluolian increased their speed at the same time. Their fists were constantly waving, and the storm-like attack made it impossible to even see how fast it was. Good guy. Is this the transformation of the frozen demon race? It's 1,000-fold increase in combat power at once. It really shouldn't be underestimated. On the ground, Beerus had a panoramic view of the scene, with a hint of surprise and astonishment in his eyes. Don't underestimate this 1,000-fold increase in combat power. The stronger the existence, the more terrifying the transformation increase. If there is no special racial talent, even if the strength exceeds the opponent by a large margin, they can be killed by the Jedi, especially Beerus. Although it is gods of destruction, it is not a special race, so he cannot transform. The transformation that he masters now is only the form of gods of destruction. Although the enhanced power is good, it does not belong to him. If Saiyan or the frozen demons become gods of destruction, then they can activate the form of gods of destruction while transforming themselves, and the boosted power is the most terrifying at that time. 1,000-fold increase in combat power. Silver mode. On the ground, Son Gohan clenched his fists tightly, and his eyes were full of unwillingness at the moment. For nothing else, he was not Azer's opponent before. With this increase in combat power, he is already confident that he will be able to fight against it. But now Azer has actually transformed, and his combat power has been increased by 1,000 times. This also means that even if he has gone all out to improve himself, the Super Ace God transformation is not his opponent. Thinking of this, Son Gohan couldn't help clenching his fists, and his eyes were full of unwillingness at the moment. He doesn't care if he loses. But the gap between the two sides was so big that it was a bit difficult for him to accept. No, Lord Beerus, that's not his limit. At this time, Whis said quietly, according to what Mr. Bupa just said, this is not the limit of Azer. 35. His ultimate transformation should be in the golden mode with Frieza now, and the intensity of the amplification will not be inferior to Saiyan's Super Saiyan mode. 35. That is to say, if he turns into a golden form, then his current combat power can at least be enhanced by hundreds of times. Sigh. Hearing this, Beerus couldn't help taking a deep breath. Not only him, but also Son Gohan, Broly, Piccolo and others on the side. Azer, who is already so terrifying, can actually increase his combat power by hundreds of times, so what terrifying level will he reach? Except for Bupa. I'm afraid that only Beerus is its opponent. Even the current Bluolian can't help the opponent. Big brother. Subconsciously, Broly said, how did your disciple's strength improve so quickly? As soon as these words came out, Son Gohan and others also looked at Bupa curiously. After all, Azer was Frieza's son. But before that, he had never heard of his existence, which meant that the latter had not been born for a long time. But as his strength has actually reached such a level, how did Bupa instruct him? How did he teach it? Actually, it didn't point to anything. In response, Bupa smiled lightly, glanced at Broly and said, the frozen demons have a characteristic, that is, they will be frozen after birth. The longer it is frozen, the stronger the strength will be, and the stronger the potential will be. When Azer was born, he had a basic combat power of 1,000 Z. Although it was unstable, I gave him a drop of the blood of the ancient frozen demon race. This drop of blood allowed him to obtain the inheritance of the ancient frozen demon race, and mastered the silver form and the gold form. 35. At the same time, Azer also made his own strength soar by this power, not only completely mastering his own 1,000 Z combat power, but even raised it to the level of 2,000 Z. In the past few months, Aize's combat power has increased by more than 200 Z, and this is the power he really cultivated. After listening to Bupa's remarks, Son Gohan and the others couldn't help but gasp again. At birth, it has 1,000 basic combat powers. In just a few months of training, He has improved about 200 basic combat powers. What kind of talent is this? What kind of potential is this? No wonder Bupa wanted him as a disciple. No wonder Azer was so scary. Whis. At this time, Beerus subconsciously said, "Are the birth conditions of the Frozen Demon clan difficult?" Obviously, after Saiyan spawned the plan, Beerus now has his sights set on the Frozen Demon race. This is a race that is not inferior to Saiyan in terms of potential and strength. If it can be cultivated on a large scale, then maybe the 7th universe can surpass the 6th universe. No way, Lord Beerus. Shaking his head, Whis said indifferently. The birth of the Frozen Demon race is self-fertilization, and each adult Frozen Demon clan is bred at most twice, and now there are no Frozen Demon clan in the universe except Frieza and Azer. Hearing this, Beerus suddenly showed a hint of disappointment. Self-pregnancy. And each person can only conceive twice. This also means that it is impossible for him to create a Frozen Demon race on a large scale. Chapter 252 Son Goku's defeat. Bupa wakes up everyone. What? At this moment, a scream came to interrupt everyone's thoughts again. Looking at the reputation, it can be seen that Son Goku, who was in midair, was actually defeated at this moment. The whole person no longer has a super blue form, and even under Frieza's attack, he was continuously injured, and his body was dripping with blood. Dad, grandson. 6699. Seeing this, everyone in the arena was stunned. Everyone didn't expect to see this scene, let alone Son Goku actually lost to Frieza. You know, Son Goku is the mainstay within them. How could he just lose like this? The main thing is that, judging from the state of Son Goku, the latter still failed miserably, which is simply unbelievable. Almost instantly, Son Gohan jumped up to rescue Son Goku. Kakarot. However, before Son Gohan was dispatched, Vegeta in the distant area was the first to drink low. The next second, Vegeta transformed into Super Blue and arrived at the area where Frieza was. Immediately afterwards, Vegeta punched Frieza back. After rescuing Son Goku, Vegeta breathed a sigh of relief. 190. Immediately afterwards, without hesitation, he quickly attacked Frieza, scolding, "Frieza will die for me." Vegeta. Seeing this, Frieza's eyes flashed with contempt and murderous intent, and then he said, "If you want to stop my revenge, then I will kill you first." After saying that, Frieza suddenly accelerated towards Vegeta's location. In the next second, the two figures fought together in midair. With the previous lessons learned, this time Vegeta has begun to go all out, which also makes it difficult for Frieza to win it in a short period of time. The battle between the two sides kicked off completely, and even the more they fought, the more courageous they became. Seeing that the battle between the two sides was already fierce, the seriously injured Son Goku was relieved. Immediately afterwards, Son Goku floated and flew towards the area where Bupa and the others were. It's not that he doesn't plan to continue fighting, but that his current injuries cannot be underestimated, and he must find Whis to recover himself. Seeing this, Son Gohan, Piccolo and the others breathed a sigh of relief. If it wasn't for Vegeta's help just now, I'm afraid that now, Son Goku is really in danger. Big brother, how did Son Goku lose? At this time, Broly frowned and asked with an unattractive expression, with his strength, it is logically impossible to lose to Frieza, because he miscalculated his own limits. With an indifferent smile, Bupa glanced at Broly and explained, unlike Son Gohan's Super Saiyan, which is a full version, his battles don't consume a lot of power. 39. But Son Goku and Vegeta's Super Saiyan gods are incomplete, so although they have absolutely powerful powers, their sustaining abilities are completely lacking. Not to mention that he developed the Super Saiyan blue color that surpassed the Super Saiyan god. Although his combat power has soared again, the power consumed has also increased exponentially. On the contrary, Frieza's golden model has almost no drawbacks, and it has been cultivated to an extremely skilled level, and the consumption of itself is extremely small. So, it seems that the two sides are not equal to each other, but in fact, in the case of a protracted war, Son Goku's defeat is also reasonable. 35. I see. Hearing this, Broly was suddenly enlightened. Immediately afterwards, he seemed to have thought of something and said, "That's why Big Brother asked us to cultivate Super 4 instead of Super Saiyan. Because our bloodline is more and more courageous, and it is almost never exhausted, and the Super 4 does not have much burden on us." 99. Even if the boost might not be as strong as the Super Saiyan blue color, if it really does fight, the Super 4 will be even more powerful. Good. Nodding his head, Bupa looked at Son Goku who flew over and said, "And over 4 is not the limit. As long as it can surpass Super Saiyan 4 and transform into Super Saiyan 5, its amplification effect will even surpass that of Super Saiyan God Blue." 5. Hearing this, Broly nodded heavily and said, "So, then I must complete the Super 4 full power as soon as possible. When I reach the state of full power, my strength will definitely increase again. And there is still a possibility of impacting the possibility of completing Super Saiyan 5 by then." 35. At the moment, Broly's words shocked both Whis and Beerus. If it was before, They would all think that Super Saiyan is Saiyan's best choice. That's why Whis will teach the cultivation method of Bororian Kesai God. But after seeing Son Goku's defeat and Bupa's words at the moment, he also vaguely felt that his judgment was wrong. Compared with the power of Super Saiyan's transformation seems to be the most suitable for super transfer. Whis. At this time, Son Goku had returned to the area inside the arena, looked at Whis and said, "Can you help me repair my injury and strength?" The fairy beans on Earth are gone. Only you, Whis, can help me recover. Otherwise, Vegeta alone is definitely no match for Frieza. 9. This is not Son Goku rhetoric. Vegeta itself is weaker than Son Goku. Not to mention that he was injured before, it is completely impossible for him to last long under Frieza's hands. Master Bupa. Seeing this, Son Gohan looked at Bupa subconsciously. He remembered that Bupa had a fairy bean in his hand, and if he gave one to Son Goku, he would be able to recover quickly. No. However, at this moment Bupa shook his head and looked at Son Gohan. Frieza is my subordinate, and Son Goku has nothing to do with me. 5. Although you are my disciple, it doesn't mean that I need to assist Son Goku to deal with my subordinates. Hearing the words, Son Gohan immediately fell silent. As Bupa said, if he helps Son Goku now, how will he deal with his subordinate Frieza later? In response, Whis nodded, looked at Son Goku and said, Mr. Goku, I suggest that you go all out in battle. After that, you have already felt the drawbacks of Jiao Sai God. The consumption of yourself is too great, and you cannot carry out a protracted battle. So, you can only possibly beat Frieza if you do your best from the beginning, otherwise, you will be defeated. While speaking, Whis waved the scepter in his hand. The power of time emerged, and the wounds on Son Goku's body began to recover rapidly, and even the chi in his body recovered as before. Chapter 253 Quan Jiao Boluolian vs Golden Aize. Recovered. After a while, Son Goku refreshed. Under the power of Whis time, his injury and strength are restored. After completing his own repair, Son Goku no longer hesitated, and immediately turned around and galloped towards the area where Frieza and Vegeta were fighting. He knew very well that Vegeta couldn't help Frieza. At the same time, he also knows that he is no match for Frieza if he doesn't change. Therefore, at this moment, Son Goku's face is serious and his will is extremely firm. It's over. Seeing this, Bupa's eyes flashed, and he immediately said, however, whether Son Goku, who has gone all out, can beat Frieza is still a question. After all, Frieza's practice during this period of time is probably not just now, as it appears. As soon as these words came out, Broly and others were all refreshed. Although I don't know what Bupa's judgment is, it is undeniable that this battle between Son Goku and Frieza will be extremely exciting. Thinking of this, everyone is not talking about anything else, and their eyes are locked on the battlefield. Boom. At this moment, a roar resounded. It can be seen that Azer punched Bluo to the ground in the distance. The ground exploded, and Bluolian was directly plunged into the ground. At the same time, Aize's figure appeared in the sky above the deep pit, and said condescendingly, admit defeat, you are not my opponent. Hearing this, Boluolian's chi in the deep pit also became violent. He can clearly feel that he is not Azer's opponent now, but it does not mean that he really does not have the strength to fight again. Roar. With a low drink, grass-green energy began to pour out of the ground, accompanied by earthquakes. You can clearly see the figure of Bluolian slowly flying up from the ground, surrounded by grass-green chi, the whole person's aura soaring wildly at this moment. 40 rang, 400 rang, 4000 rang. After reaching 4000 chi, the chi in Bluolian's body stopped rising. After all this was done, Bluolian's eyes locked on Aize and he said, this is what I am doing now. As, come again. After finishing speaking, Bluolian immediately appeared in Aize's place with a flick of his body. Without the slightest hesitation, Bluolian punched out and went straight to Aize's face. Not good. When the crisis struck, Aize's expression changed slightly. His current strength is only 200 rang, and he is no match for Bluolian at all. But under the current circumstances, it was too late for him to transform. Looking at the attacking fist, Azer quickly raised his arm to block. With a loud bang, Bluolian's fist smashed into Aize's arm. In the next second, Aize's figure was instantly knocked out, and it crashed into several hills like a cannonball. So strong. Bororian's power is so powerful. The combination of Kasai and Kael, this kind of transformation is the strongest. 99. Seeing this scene, Broly and the others exclaimed subconsciously. Although Boluolian has now reached the extreme, everyone can see how huge his potential is. Even as long as he continues to perfect his transformation and improve his super transfer mode, his power will then reach an even more terrifying level. No, Bororian is going to lose. However, Bupa waved his hand indifferently at the moment, and then said, Azer's combat power is more than 200 gangs, while Bluolian's is more than 4000 gangs. Although there seems to be a huge gap between the two sides, there is no possibility for Bluolian to continue transforming. But Azer still has the golden mode. As soon as these words came out, Broly and others all changed their expressions. Golden form. Bupa has said before that this transformation is not inferior to Super Saiyan. Under the current circumstances, If Azer uses such a transformation ability, it seems that he really has a combat power that surpasses that of Bluolian. Rumbling, almost in an instant, a roar resounded. Looking at the reputation, it can be seen that the area where Aize had fallen before is now filled with golden energy for 9 days. With the earth shaking, you can see Aize's figure slowly flying from it. The golden aura continued to pour out, and his whole body was rendered into a golden appearance. Immediately afterwards, a wave of special fluctuations began to spread continuously, and Azer's whole person entered the golden state. Zero seeking flowers. In an instant, Aize's chi soared, and in a short period of time, it rose to the level of 60 grooves. The terrifying coercion swept out, and the entire area became heavy, especially Bororian. The original attack on Aize came to an abrupt end, and the terrifying power gap made him dare not continue to act trashly. Plop. Falling to the ground, Son Gohan said in disbelief, "How can it be so powerful? This breath gives me the feeling that the devil is about to destroy the world. This Azer is obviously Frieza's son. Why does he have so much power beyond Frieza?" 46. Not only him, but also Son Gohan, Broly and others on the side were shocked. The combat power of 60 grooves. This has put Azer and Bororian on a completely different level. Tier 9 combat power. This son of Frieza is truly extraordinary. Beerus nodded and said immediately, "I have to say, he is indeed a good candidate for gods of destruction." And compared to the simplicity of Bororian, this Azer is obviously more simple and rude. But unfortunately, since the choice has been made, it is impossible to change. This remark immediately aroused the approval of Whis on the side. Although Azer's potential is indeed terrifying, Boluolian is not bad. It's just that the current Bluolian has not been fully developed. Once it was fully tapped its own power, it will definitely surpass the opponent in the future. But soon, Whis seemed to have thought of something, looked at Aize in the field and said, "Although he can't be the Gods of Destruction candidate for this term, but if he is the next Gods of Destruction candidate, it is still possible." 99. As soon as these words came out, the corner of Beerus' mouth twitched, as if thinking of something. He turned his head and glared at Whis and said, "Whis, what do you mean by that? Do you want me to die sooner?" "You know, this alternate Gods of Destruction is Bororian. Only when Beerus steps down can the latter be in the position, and only in this way can the next Gods of Destruction candidates be nurtured." What Whis just said was definitely not very harmful to Beerus, but it was extremely insulting. Chapter 254. The defeated Bo Luolian, Bupa's guidance. He. Looking at the angry Beerus, Whis covered his mouth with a smile at the moment, and then said, "Master Beerus, you have now reached level 11. As long as you reach the 12th level, Lord Beerus cannot continue to serve as Gods of Destruction, so it makes sense for me to prepare in advance." 39. Hearing this, Beerus fell silent. As Gods of Destruction, he naturally understands what Whis means, and he knows that this matter cannot be changed. "Can't you be the Gods of Destruction at level 12? In the side area, Bupa's eyes flashed, and he was a little surprised. If it was really according to what Whis said, then Beerus should have already surpassed Tier 12 combat power. But according to what he just said, Beerus' basic combat power must exceed Tier 12. 19.3. If this is the case, it means that the strength of Angel, Grand Angel, Xenogod and even Grand Priest is calculated by normality. In other words, they are likely to have their own transformation forms, which can enhance their own 1-2 ranks of combat effectiveness. Thinking of this, Bupa's expression couldn't help but become solemn. After all, according to the situation mentioned by the latter, if you want to reach a sufficient height, you must make the basic combat power even stronger. Although Saiyan's transformation form can enhance a lot of combat power, whether it is Angel, Gods of Destruction, Big Angel or Xenogods, I am afraid that they all have the transformation ability that is not inferior to Saiyan's transformation. If this is the case, then if you want to go further, you must work harder. Indeed so. At this time, Beerus said quietly, "But as long as I'm not happy, then nothing like this will happen." Let's reserve your opinion on this matter of Azer. If he can really reach that level, it will not be a problem to become the next Gods of Destruction candidate. 5. Hearing this, Whis nodded immediately. He understood what Beerus was referring to, and he also understood what it meant. A badge. At this moment, screams resounded. Looking at the reputation, it can be seen that Bo Luolian is obviously no longer Azer's opponent. In just a few breaths, Bo Luolian fell to the ground dripping with blood. And Azer didn't kill him after defeating him. After all, he was Bupa's younger brother, so he couldn't be cruel to him. As soon as he thought of this, Azer floated to the ground, and flew towards the area where Bupa was with Bororian. Call out. The sound of breaking through the air resounded, and Azer and Bluolian quickly came to the arena area. After seeing Bupa, Azer's face showed a smile, and then he bowed and saluted. "I have seen the master." 35. Nodding his head, Bupa glanced at Aize, then said, "You did a good job." 99. The strength of this period has also improved very quickly, and it has not lived up to my expectations. Hearing this, Aize's face became even more smiling. Bupa's remarks are definitely a great encouragement for him. Immediately, Aize no longer hesitated, and directly put Bo Luolian on the ground and said, "Master, I'm sorry, I hurt my uncle." "No problem." 35. Waving his hand, Bupa said indifferently, "I just took this opportunity to make him understand his own shortcomings." With that said, Bupa took out a fairy bin and threw it to Broly. "Broly, feed it to Broly." "Yes, sir." With a promise, Broly stepped forward and left the fairy bins for Bluo to eat. Along with Xiandu's belly, Bluolian's injury quickly recovered as before. After he opened his eyes, he stood up from the ground, looked at Aize and said, "I lost. But next time I will definitely beat you." Hearing this, Aize smiled slightly. He didn't doubt Bororian's potential, but he didn't think he would fail either. Thinking of this, Aize immediately said, "I look forward to the next fight with Uncle Shi." Hearing this, Boluolian did not continue to say anything. He understood that the words he continued in the current situation had no meaning. Immediately, Bluolian stood up from the ground, followed Broly to Bupa's side, and said embarrassedly, "Sorry, big brother, I lost." "No problem." 39. With a wave of his hand, Bupa looked at Boluolian indifferently and said, "Your potential is not inferior to that of Aize, or even stronger. What you lack now is only the basic combat power. You can work hard to improve the basic combat power in the future." Hearing this, Bororian nodded immediately. He also understands that his basic combat power is far from enough. After all, although Aize's golden form is powerful, in a sense, it is completely incomparable to his anger state. The superposition of Super Game and Super Transfer Mode. It is precisely because the basic combat strength of the two sides is too different, which has led to their own defeat. With that in mind, Boluolian turned his head to look at Whis and said, "Whis, please train me more strictly in the future." 35. It is good. Nodding his head, Whis smiled and looked at Bo Luolian and said, "Bo Luolian, your potential is very strong. It was because of the misjudgment of Beerus and I that caused you to waste a lot of time cultivating Super Saiyan and Super Sailor God Blue. 99. But after listening to Mr. Bupa's speech this time, we also understand that your path is more suitable for the practice of Super Saiyan and Quan Super Mode. So, in the future, I will strictly improve your basic combat power and help you complete a higher-level Super Saiyan transformation." Nodding, Bo Luolian also knew that the limit of Jiao Sai God is not high, at least for Quan Jiao bloodline. Jiao Sai God is of little value. Before, it was because of Whis' vowed words that he was moved, especially the promotion of Son Goku and Vegeta after completing the Super Blue, so people have to pay attention. But after the end of this battle 0.7, he also understood the path that is more suitable for him. At this point, Boluolian looked at Bupa and Broly subconsciously and said, "Big brother, second brother, please teach me the transformation of Super 4. "It is good." With a promise, Bupa said indifferently, "After this matter is over, I will start to help you practice Super 4. 99. At the same time, it will help you practice the transformation of Quan Jiao too, but the transformation is only a type of augmentation. Only the basic combat power is the key to determining a person's upper limit. I hope you can keep this in mind." 5. No, Vegeta is going to lose. Suddenly, Piccolo in the field suddenly exclaimed. Hearing this, Bupa and the others also stopped talking and looked up subconsciously. It can be seen that Vegeta in the Super Blue form has also begun to resist Frieza's attack. Chapter 255 Super Blue Kaio-ken erupts. Peak duel erupts. R-35. The screams continued to resound, and it was clear that Vegeta's entire body was completely broken. With Frieza's countless fist shadows attacking his body, Vegeta's mouth continued to spurt blood, and even his bones were constantly bursting. Vegeta, seeing this, Bulma subconsciously cried out in pain. She could see how bad Vegeta was at the moment, and if she continued, she might risk her death. Frieza. In the nick of time, Son Goku's low roar resounded. The next second, it can be seen that he transformed into a Super Blue and broke into the battlefield area, and he kicked Frieza into the air. After rescuing Vegeta, Son Goku said solemnly, "Vegeta, you go first, then leave it to me." 99. Kakarot. Hearing this, Vegeta gave Son Goku a complicated look. Although he is not reconciled, he also understands that he does not have the strength to continue fighting. He turned his head and glanced at Frieza, who was not far away. He didn't say anything, turned around and galloped towards Beerus and the others. He knew very well that he could no longer fight with his current situation. If you continue to insist on 20, it will not make any sense. Frieza, come on. When Vegeta left, Son Goku breathed a sigh of relief, then raised his head to look at Frieza not far away, his eyes full of fighting intent. Son Goku, you're back. Seeing this, Frieza raised his brows, and a haze flashed across his eyes. This feeling of being consumed in turns makes Frieza extremely uncomfortable, especially seeing the enemy Son Goku. Immediately afterwards, Frieza gritted his teeth sharply, and said with murderous intent, "If this is the case, then I will make you pay for it. This time, this king will definitely kill you." While speaking, Frieza let out a loud shout, showing that the golden aura around him was violent at this moment. Sweeping away the calm breath before, Frieza's entire body's strength has increased several times at this moment. It was at this moment that Frieza made a bold move without hesitation, and immediately attacked Son Goku. It's good to come. Seeing this, Son Goku's eyes were full of fighting intent, and without hesitation, he clenched his fists and said, 10 times Kaio-ken. Ha! With a low roar resounding, Son Goku immediately activated the tenfold Kaio-ken. For a time, Son Goku's chi soared tenfold. Immediately afterwards, Son Goku headed towards Frieza. In the next second, the two figures were fighting together in midair. Bang bang bang, bang bang bang. The shadows of fists in the sky continued to emerge, and the peak duel between Frieza and Son Goku kicked off. As the battle continued, one could clearly feel that the combat power of the two of them continued to soar. But in fact, they are not equal to each other. It can be said that under such circumstances, the battle between the two of them is almost insane, and the speed at which you come and go between me is difficult to capture. In the eyes of ordinary people, there are only two beams of light colliding continuously in midair, and the impact of each blow is extremely powerful, and even the earth is shaking violently. 10 times Kaio-ken. Damn, Kakarot can cast Kaio-ken in super blue form. In this scene, Vegeta is directly jealous. Never imagined that things would turn out to be so unexpected. You know, he was originally 3 points weaker than Son Goku, and now Son Goku can still display Kaio-ken, which means that the gap between the two sides is 10 times as much. At this moment, Vegeta clenched his fists tightly and was shocked for a long time, unable to calm down. Amazing. Super Blue and Kaio-ken, Dad was able to do this. Son Gohan couldn't help but sigh. You know, the cooperation of Super Blue and Kaio-ken has directly raised Son Goku's upper limit again. Even originally they were only at the Z level of combat power, but now they have reached the level of Rang. Although only about 1 Rang's strength, it is no longer comparable to Z level combat power. Good strength. Under Kaio-ken, he does have the ability to compete with Frieza. 35. Broly subconsciously sighed, but this also makes Son Goku even worse. Super Blue and Kaio-ken are extremely exhausting means and skills, and the combination of the two will only lead to more serious physical exhaustion. On the contrary, Frieza's golden form consumes very little, and the two are evenly matched in a short time, but if they are long, they will inevitably lose. As soon as these words came out, the expressions of Son Gohan, Trunks and others all changed. Although reluctant to admit it, as Broly said, the current Son Goku is indeed in a bad situation. Thinking of this, several people looked at each other subconsciously, and looked at Son Goku in the arena and said, "Come on, Dad." 55. Come on, Uncle Goku. Come on, Kakarot. For all this, Bupa had a panoramic view, and then he shook his head without hesitation. This group of people still pin their hopes on Son Goku, which means that once Son Goku loses, their faith will collapse. Most importantly, with the exception of Son Gohan who is enlightened, the others, including Vegeta, are not much enlightened. They all pin their hopes on the rest of the 193 people, and they are not aware of their own inadequacies at all, and they do not have the mentality to urgently improve. Including Vegeta is no exception. Although jealous, and even his heart became stronger, he did not act for it. Not to interpret all this to the extreme, which has led to the current situation so bad. Thinking of this, Papa looked at Broly beside him and said, "Broly, I have something for you." "What?" Hearing this, Broly looked at Bupa curiously. He knew that Bupa couldn't give him something useless, it must be something that could improve his strength. Therefore, Broly is more curious at this moment, and even his heart is full of expectations. What a sellout. Bupa took out the blood of Saiyan, the evil one. As soon as he thought about it, immediately afterwards, Bupa's eyes turned to Broly and said, "True love is a blood essence I got in the 6th universe. It is said to be the blood of Saiyan, the evil one, whose potential and ability are beyond Quinkao. If you can refine it, then your own combat power will be greatly improved, and even the super bloodline may be improved." 39. But at the same time, it also has huge drawbacks in itself, that is, it contains an evil aura and will. Once you can't hold on to being affected, your whole person will fall into a frenzy and cannot wake up. Chapter 256 The Origin of Saiyan, the Envy of Beerus. Blood of Saiyan of evil, beyond the power of Quinkao. After swallowing, Broly's breathing quickened. If it is true as Bupa said, then the value of this drop of blood essence is really too great. At the same time, Broly also understands the degree of danger in it. If he fails, he will lose his mind and become a mad beast. Saiyan of evil, blood power stronger than Quinkao? Does this kind of Saiyan really exist? 35. At the same time, Son Gohan and the others all stared at the blood in Bupa's hands in astonishment, especially Vegeta. At this moment, his eyes are so hot that he can't wait to take it into his hands immediately. Beyond the power of the super bloodline, if he can get it, then whatever Son Goku, whatever Frieza, whatever Son Gohan, whatever Broly, Boluolian can't be his opponent. Unfortunately, he could only think about it. Although the blood of Saiyan of evil is close at hand, Vegeta also knows that he has no possibility of meddling with it. Thinking of this, Vegeta couldn't help but pouted and turned her head sharply to force herself not to look at the blood of Saiyan, the evil one. "Oh, It's actually the blood of Saiyan, the evil one. At this time, Whis on the side was a little surprised. I didn't expect such blood essence to exist in the 6th universe. 39. No wonder Mr. Bupa took the risk to the 6th universe before. The value of this thing is indeed worth the risk. 95. As soon as these words came out, Beerus and the others immediately looked at Whis and said, "Whis, do you know Saiyan of evil?" "Whis, can you tell me about Saiyan, the evil one?" Including Bupa is also looking at Whis at the moment. Although he knew the power of Saiyan Kamba, the evil one, he also understood the horror of evil Saiyan. But beyond that he didn't have much information or knowledge. But Whis clearly knew, and even knew quite a bit. Sure. With an indifferent smile, Whis glanced at Saiyan's blood essence and said, "According to what Mr. Bupa said earlier, I specially investigated the information of Saiyan in ancient times." 99. In the records of Saiyan's information, Saiyan was also divided into 2 camps at that time. One of the camps is the Super Saiyan headed by Amosi, and the other camp is the evil Saiyan. Amosi's Super Saiyan plays a peaceful role within the universe, helping to stabilize the peace and development of the universe. But the Saiyans of evil are different. They are extremely violent and full of aggression, and they are all evil. 35. But in that era, even the Super Saiyan God couldn't help the evil Saiyan, and even the gods couldn't help the evil Saiyan. It's just that after the last incident, all the evil Saiyans were beheaded, and the pure-blooded Super Saiyans were almost killed, which led to the birth of the second-class Saiyan family. 5. After that, the Super Saiyan can still be born, but the Saiyan of evil has completely disappeared. Only some Saiyans who contain the blood of Saiyan of evil have awakened, and they are also called Quincal. So, if this drop of blood essence in Mr. Bupa's hand really comes from Saiyan, the evil one, then once it is refined and mastered, in a sense, it is indeed stronger than his current super bloodline. 5. Hiss. After listening to Whis' remarks, everyone present couldn't help but take a deep breath. The Saiyan of evil is actually an existence comparable to the real Super Saiyan in ancient times. In addition, the source of Quincal's bloodline is actually part of the Saiyan bloodline of evil. That also means that if this evil Saiyan blood essence is refined, it is likely to improve the bloodline, and even fully activate the potential. Big brother. Thinking of this, Broly's subordinate looked at Bupa and said, "This blood essence is so precious, you should use it, eldest brother." 35. After all, brother, your bloodline is similar to mine. As long as you refine it, you will definitely be stronger. Although he knew that Saiyan's blood essence had disadvantages, Broly was not worried at this moment. After all, the super bloodline originates from Saiyan, the evil one, which means they have something in common. Plus uploading is super easy to run away, but Bupa and Broly have solved this problem through Shenron. Therefore, whether it is Bupa or Broly, the success rate of refining this blood essence is very high. Therefore, Broly now prefers to let Bupa refine and make Bupa stronger, rather than making himself stronger. No need. 35. Hearing this, Bupa waved his hand, looked at Broly and said, "I have my own way to become stronger. This evil Saiyan blood is of little value to me. Broly, you will refine it now and I will protect you personally." Hearing this, Broly opened his mouth and tried to say something several times, but he swallowed the words when they reached his lips. Because he knows that since Bupa has made up his mind, it means that this matter will not continue to change. "I see." Taking a deep breath, Broly looked up at Bupa and said, "Brother, I won't let you down." 95. After speaking, Broly no longer hesitated, and immediately swallowed the blood of Saiyan, the evil one. After swallowing the blood of Saiyan of evil, Broly sat cross-legged on the ground and started refining. Seeing this, Bupa nodded in satisfaction. Although he knew the effect of Saiyan's blood essence on himself, he believed more in the power of the system. As long as Broly is completed, he can also get 10 times the return, and his bloodline will also become stronger. In this case, why should I make myself stronger and ignore Broly, who is my younger brother and my absolute supporter? It's really brotherly love. Beerus, who was watching this scene, sighed subconsciously. He also has a younger brother, and the relationship between the former two is also very good, and they even cultivated together to become gods of destruction. But after that, he and Champa also pushed each other out, and even calculated each other. While this didn't change their relationship, it didn't change the brother and sister Christian before becoming gods of destruction. But what about now? Bupa knew that the blood of Saiyan of evil was of great value, but he still chose to give it to Broly instead of swallowing it himself. This also means that in the minds of the latter, the blood of Saiyan of evil is good, but it cannot be compared with Broly at all. Big brother. Similarly, Boluolian even looked at Bupa with more approval at the moment. But he has no jealousy. Although they are both younger brothers, Broly is Bupa's younger brother, and he has always followed him. Therefore, it is the best choice for Bupa to give the blood of Saiyan of evil to Broly. Chapter 257 20 times Kaio-ken, the final confrontation. Also surprised were Vegeta et al. I thought that Bupa was definitely a ruthless person, but at this moment, The latter's actions showed that this was not what he and others had guessed. Thinking of this, everyone's breathing couldn't help but quicken. After all, compared to an indifferent king, they seemed to know more about Bupa at the moment. At the same time, the latter can give up the blood of Saiyan, the evil one, for his younger brother, which shows how his character is. Thinking of this, Bulma and the others looked at Bupa with a three-pointed kindness. If the previous Bupa only made them relax their guard, now it also makes them feel that the latter is an existence that can be intersected and entrusted. But unfortunately, Bupa didn't care about these psychological changes. Apart from the existence of Broly and others who have 100 loyalty to himself, it is really impossible for him to give the benefits to others. Like Son Goku and Vegeta. Even if they were the protagonists of this universe, so what? Not his subordinates, but in Bupa's eyes, he is an outsider, and he does not need special treatment to treat outsiders. Master, look at that, Son Goku can't hold on anymore. At this moment, Aize suddenly spoke. 193. As soon as these words came out, Vegeta and others were stunned for a moment, and then they turned their heads to look at the distant area without thinking about anything else. Under everyone's gaze, it was clear that the battle between Son Goku and Frieza had come to an end. Rao was 10 times blessed by Kaio-ken, but Son Goku couldn't take Frieza, and even his power had begun to gradually weaken. Obviously, the fusion of Kael and Kaio-ken has not been completely completed. Although he has already displayed it this time, the consumption of his own physical strength is also extremely huge. Thinking of this, the eyes of a group of people suddenly became a little complicated. Although it had been guessed that Son Goku might not be Frieza's opponent, it was still difficult for them to accept this scene when it happened. Frieza, you've become really strong. He punched out and collided with Frieza, and Son Goku gasped, looking at Frieza with emotion. He did not expect that the latter had reached such a level in a short period of time. He couldn't take down the opponent even when he tried his best, which made Son Goku feel a little frustrated. With a cold smile, Frieza looked at Son Goku with cold eyes and said, after being in that damn place for decades, this king's anger has already covered the universe. 5. Now that this great king has finally come out, naturally he won't relax. Son Goku, the king of Japan is going to kill you today. With that said, Frieza hurriedly accelerated towards Son Goku, intending to completely defeat him, but to kill him. Frieza, seeing this, Son Goku's face sank. He knew that under the current situation, he had no choice. Even under such circumstances, he had to defeat Frieza, otherwise the consequences would be unimaginable today. With that in mind, Son Goku clenched his teeth sharply and said, Frieza, I have to defeat you. Since 10 times Kaio-ken is not your match, then 20 times. 5. As he spoke, Son Goku clenched his teeth sharply and clenched his fists. 20 times Kaio-ken ha. 55. In the next second, crimson air spewed from Son Goku's body. 20 times the Kaio-ken erupted, and it can be seen that Son Goku's face turned hideous at this moment. His whole body trembled constantly, and the cold sweat on his forehead continued to slide down. Under the power of 20 times Kaio-ken, his whole body was in excruciating pain, even extremely unbearable. But when he thought of the consequences of his defeat, Son Goku still insisted, watching the attacking Frieza, and punched out. The next second, Son Goku's fist hit Frieza's body directly. What? With a scream, blood spurted out of Frieza's mouth. Facing Son Goku, who was blessed with 20 times the Kaio-ken, he was really helpless. Frieza. 39. At this moment, Son Goku burst into a drink, his fists joined together, and his eyes were cold. This time, you will still lose. Clame. 95. Card. Immediately, the Kamehameha wave that poured all of Son Goku's power into it erupted and attacked Frieza without hesitation. Damn. When the crisis struck, Frieza's face changed drastically. The Kamehameha wave came so fast that it was difficult for him to dodge even now. Although it was already clear that Son Goku was the last blow, even this was his final blow. As long as he avoids it, he will definitely be able to defeat Son Goku, or even kill him. But now he couldn't dodge, he could only watch the Kamehameha wave attack. Damn. 39. Son Goku, I will not lose to you. In just a split second, Frieza let out a low growl. Immediately afterwards, Frieza no longer hesitated, and immediately gathered all his strength with a loud shout. Interstellar Destroyer Cannon. With a low roar, a purple energy ball emerged, and under Frieza's control, it attacked directly towards the Kamehameha wave. Rumbling. Suddenly, a deafening roar resounded. The powers of Son Goku and Frieza collided in midair, and although Son Goku had the upper hand and was even stronger, Frieza still blocked it abruptly. Son Goku and Frieza poured their own power into it like a madman as the low growl continued. Come on, Dad. Come on, King Frieza. 35. Old son beat him. Kakarot, beat Frieza for me. 6699. Seeing this situation, Aize, Son Gohan and others in the arena all burst into tears. Everyone could see that this blow was the last blow. Son Goku and Frieza, whoever has the upper hand will be able to get the final benefit completely ended. However, Bupa shook his head at the moment, looked back and said, Frieza has lost against the Son family. Hearing this, Beerus looked at Bupa in surprise and said, "Why? I think Son Goku has an advantage, but his power is rapidly dissipating as time goes by, and Frieza could have won if he held on." 5. Not only him, but also the surrounding Son Gohan and others all looked at Bupa. I don't understand why Bupa is so sure that Son Goku will win, even though the final match between the two sides has not yet been completed. Especially Aize. At this moment, his face is full of confusion and doubts. Chapter 258. The Son family will win against Bo, and the war is over. Hearing this, Bupa also twitched the corners of his mouth. Just now, my heart was blunt, and I made my judgment subconsciously. However, he also believed in his own judgment. After all, no one in Dragon Ball could fight against Bo Son's family since ancient times. Thinking of this, Bupa said immediately, Son Goku has made all the stops, and he will not allow himself to fail under such circumstances. So, in such a situation, what awaits him is only desperate. If nothing else, Son Goku hasn't played all his cards yet, but is waiting for an opportunity to beat Frieza in one blow. 39. As soon as these words came out, Beerus and others suddenly realized, especially those who are familiar with Son Goku, such as Vegeta, are nodding their heads and saying, "Yes, Son Goku just likes to show all his cards at the end." 55. Kakarot does have this character. When he is at his most extreme, he bursts out with all his strength, so that he can completely squeeze his own limits and potential. If that's the case, then Frieza's defeat is beyond doubt. After all, Son Goku has now surpassed Frieza with 20 times the power of the Kaio-ken. After listening to Vegeta and the others, Aize's expression became serious. Frieza is his father. He couldn't have watched Frieza die at the hands of Son Goku. Thinking of this, Aize glanced at Bupa, clasped his fists in a salute, and said, "Master, then I'll go ahead. I won't interfere with my father's revenge, but I can't watch him die either." "Go." Waving his hand, Bupa said indifferently, "If Frieza can't hold on, you can save him. After all, it is my subordinate. It is impossible to watch him die here like this." "Yes." Hearing this, Aize immediately sighed in relief. Bupa didn't stop him, which meant it wasn't impossible. Thinking of this, Aize no longer hesitated, and hurried toward the field. "Lord Bupa, then I'll go too." At this time, Son Gohan spoke quietly. He could see that Azer was there to save Frieza, but Son Goku wouldn't be doing well that way. So he had to rush over as soon as possible, only to ensure the safety of Son Goku. "Go." With a wave of his hand, Bupa did not refuse. Son Gohan wants to save people, he naturally can't stop anything. Immediately, Son Gohan left in a hurry. With Azer and Son Gohan arriving in the area within the battlefield, the confrontation between Frieza and Son Goku has come to an end. Seeing Frieza's energy ball approaching Son Goku at a speed visible to the naked eye, Frieza laughed. "Son Goku, today you are sure to die." Not only him, but also Azer and others can see that Son Goku is not Frieza's opponent at this moment. Although the Kaio-ken is displayed 20 times, the physical consumption of this is also huge. This also led to the continuous weakening of Son Goku's power, and it was even obvious that he could not hold on. Can Son Goku really win? Can Kakarot turn defeat into victory? 6699. For a time, such a thought appeared in everyone's heart. There was even a hint of doubt about Bupa's inference. After all, under such circumstances, Son Goku had no way of resisting Frieza. 99. At the critical moment, Son Goku didn't hesitate anymore. His eyes locked on Frieza not far away, and then roared, "For the sake of the earth, I will definitely not lose to you." 10 times came a Mia wave. 9. The next second, the Kamehameha wave's power exploded. With Son Goku's power surging, a terrifying force swept out at this moment. It can be clearly seen that Frieza's energy ball is receding at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a few breaths, the energy ball was completely swallowed by the Kamehameha wave. At this moment, the power of the Kamehameha wave descended and directly covered Frieza's body. The screams resounded, and Frieza's body could be clearly seen bursting at a speed visible to the naked eye. Countless blood splattered, and even the golden form began to annihilate rapidly. Under the tenfold Kamehameha wave's power, Frieza had no resistance at all, and even had the fear of his life. 1. Really turned a defeat into a victory. 35. 10 times Kamehameha wave. That's Son Goku's whole card. 35. 0. Ask for flowers 0. Seeing this situation, Bulma and others were overjoyed. Unexpectedly, Son Goku, who was in crisis just now, turned the tide of the battle all at once. Even in such a situation, Frieza would surely die if he was not careful. For a time, the crowd cheered and their eyes were full of excitement. Even Vegeta breathed a sigh of relief at the moment. If Kakarot lost, he didn't know what to do. At the critical moment, Azer's figure appeared in the area beside Frieza. Without the slightest hesitation, Azer waved his hand to destroy the energy bomb that came from the attack. After all this was done, Azer flew towards Bupa's area with the scarred Frieza. Failed. Seeing this, Son Goku's eyes flashed with disappointment. Immediately afterwards, the power of the tenfold Kamehameha wave dissipated, and the sequelae of Super Blue and Kaio-ken followed. With a scream, Son Goku immediately returned to normal. and the whole person fell from the air in pain. Dad. Seeing this situation, Son Gohan also reacted. Without the slightest hesitation, Son Gohan quickly leaned forward and supported Son Goku. After quickly transferring his breath to Son Goku to ensure Son Goku's life, he also hurried towards the area where Bupa was with Son Goku. With Son Goku's current injury and sequelae, only Sender can save him. Call out! Call out! With the sound of breaking air, Azer and Son Gohan led Frieza and Son Goku to the area inside the arena. Master. Without the slightest hesitation, Aize looked at Bupa and said, please also ask the Master to save my father. Similarly, Son Gohan also said, Master Bupa, please give me a fairy bin. 35. Hearing this, Bupa smiled lightly. As soon as his mind moved, he took out 2 fairy bins and threw them to Aize and Son Gohan. Let's eat them. 39. This battle is over, and they all probably understand their own gaps and weaknesses. Hearing this, both Azer and Son Gohan breathed a sigh of relief. Immediately afterwards, they did not hesitate, and quickly sent the fairy bins into the mouths of Frieza and Son Goku. Chapter 259 Instructing Frieza, a 1-year appointment. Add. Cough 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 cough. Moments later, Frieza and Son Goku wake up. The power of Xianda has repaired all their injuries. After waking up, Frieza and Son Goku immediately noticed each other's existence. Son Goku, Frieza. The former is full of hatred, while the latter is full of fighting spirit. The previous battles were their own limits for them. Frieza is not reconciled, but he also understands that Son Goku can't do it alone. Son Goku won, but he also understood that it was the limit of the limit, and if he did it again, he wasn't sure if he could suppress Frieza. Under such circumstances, the two sides looked at each other with all their fighting intent, but they did not act rashly. All right. Seeing the situation 193, Bupa clapped his hands and said, Frieza, your strength is still a little worse than Son Goku. After going back, practice hard for a while and seek revenge for him. Hearing this, Frieza nodded immediately. He understands that he can't do anything about Son Goku, even though Azer's presence can help him. But the hatred for Son Goku makes Frieza reluctant to use the power of others, even if Azer is his son. Suddenly, Frieza seemed to think of something, and subconsciously said, have you defeated Son Goku's son? Dad, I won. Hearing this, the corners of Azer's mouth rose, and he said proudly, although Son Gohan's strength is stronger than Son Goku, he is still not my opponent. It is good. Very good. Hearing this, Frieza suddenly laughed, looked at Son Goku and said, Son Goku, this time the king lost, but my son won. At most, it's 1 win and 1 draw between you and me. Wait, when this king cultivates again for a period of time, he will kill you personally. As soon as these words came out, the expressions of everyone around them changed. They could all hear that Frieza wasn't giving up on revenge, which meant that the fight today would continue in the future. This is not good news for Bulma and others. After all, the strength of Frieza and his son is too strong, especially Azer. That is an existence that even Bo Luolian can't do anything about. Unless Beerus, Bupa and Whis shoot, no one can be Azer's opponent. Okay, I'll wait for you, Frieza. In this regard, Son Goku nodded without hesitation, and then said, I will continue to practice hard, and I will still beat you next time. And I believe that as long as Gohan works hard, he will definitely be able to defeat your son Azer. 99. As soon as these words came out, Frieza and Son Goku looked at each other, and the fighting spirit between the two soared again. On the contrary, Azer and Son Gohan were quite embarrassed at the moment. Son Goku and Frieza, who suddenly sympathized with each other, were a little surprised. All right. Seeing this, Beerus on the side clapped his hands, and then said, I've watched you fight here for more than an hour. Now that the fight is over, let's go get something to eat. The food on Earth is good. Beerus. Seeing the appearance of Beerus, Frieza's pupils shrank, and there was a hint of fear in his eyes. He hadn't really noticed Beerus' existence before. Unexpectedly, this gods of destruction actually came to Earth, and it seems to have a good relationship with Son Goku and others. Involuntarily, Frieza looked at Bupa subconsciously, and said, Lord Bupa, can you give some pointers to Aize and Ai's cultivation? Frieza saw it. Son Goku and others have the guidance of Beerus and Whis, and their strength will definitely improve day by day. So in this case, in order not to be pulled down by it, he must become stronger as soon as possible. Can. Glancing at Frieza, the corners of Bupa's mouth rose. There is a time house on Earth. 35. At that time, a year of cultivation was practiced in the house, and only 1 day passed in the outside world. Frieza and Azer have enough strength now that you can enter it for 6 or 7 years of cultivation. As long as you have finished your cultivation, you will definitely increase your strength to a higher level. 99. Time house. Only 1 day has passed in a year inside and outside. Hearing this, Frieza and Azer's breathing became short. If such a magical place really exists, it will definitely be beneficial to their cultivation. 0. After all, their father and son are full of potential, and they hardly practice much. If they really practice hard for a period of time, then maybe they will be completely reborn and stronger. Thanks to Mr. Bupa for the pointer. With a clasped fist and a salute, Frieza looked at Son Goku and the others and said, Son Goku, 1 year, give you 1 year to practice. 1 year later, my father and son will take revenge on you again. After speaking, Frieza no longer hesitated, jumped up and said, Aize, follow me. 99. Let's go see the so-called time house. 35. Yes, father. As soon as he agreed, Aize did not refuse. He understands the importance of the time house to himself. In addition, Bupa did not intend to stop him from leaving, which means that this matter must be accelerated. Thinking of this, Aize clasped his fists towards Bupa and said, Master, the disciple will leave first. Go. Seeing this, Bupa opened his mouth with a smile. His biggest source of strength improvement now is Aize, who let him enter the time house to cultivate for about 6 years. At that time, Bupa's own basic combat power is bound to soar again. Xiuichi, call out. The sound of breaking air resounded, and the Frieza and his son hurried away. Their goal is to point directly to the time house, and those universe legions who followed Frieza to Earth are also flying out of Earth 0.7 at the moment. However, they did not dare to leave rashly, but stayed in the galaxy to wait for Frieza and Azer to exit. Ended. It is finally over. Seeing this, Son Gohan, Trunks and others all sighed with relief and cheered. Although Frieza is not dead. But after all, he was defeated by Son Goku, which means that the crisis on Earth is over. As for a year later, that is a year later, and they are not too worried. After all, Frieza and Azer can improve their strength, so there is no reason why Son Goku and Son Gohan can't. On the other hand, Son Goku, Vegeta and others are not in a good mood either. After simply putting away the bodies of Klin and others, a group of them headed to the western capital to start a meal and drink. Chapter 260 Urgent Z Warrior, Legend of Evil Super Bloodline. Within the western capital, Beerus and the others looked quite happy eating the things prepared by the servants. Only Vegeta, Son Goku, Son Gohan frowned and worried at the moment. Especially Vegeta. Thinking that Frieza and Azer had already gone to the time house to practice, he became more and more impatient in his heart. Let them cultivate in the time house for 6 years, and the gap between the two sides will continue to widen. This is definitely not good news for Vegeta, and it is even completely unacceptable. But it was Bupa who said this, and Vegeta didn't dare to say it even if he was dissatisfied in his heart. Master Beerus. After a while, Son Gohan couldn't hold it anymore, looked at Beerus and asked, if the Frieza father and son finish their cultivation, will they come to Earth again to do evil in a year? As soon as these words came out, Son Goku and the others also focused their attention on Beerus. After all, this matter matters. A year is not a long time, for them Alexander. Naturally, seeing Son Goku's 3 people glance at 20, Beerus said indifferently, after all, Frieza was defeated by Son Goku, and even killed by future Trunks. It can be said that the grievances between you are difficult to resolve, unless Frieza kills Son Goku, Vegeta and Trunks. As for Earth, if you're worried, talk to Frieza about Star Wars Beyond Earth. One thing I have to warn you about, though, is that neither Frieza nor Azer's potential has yet been fully exploited. 5. This also means that once they break through, their strength will definitely soar again. Hearing this, Son Goku and the others couldn't help but take a deep breath. If it's really according to what Bupa said, then this matter is really difficult to handle. Master Beerus. Subconsciously, Son Goku asked urgently, I wonder if there is a way to quickly increase the combat power? As soon as these words came out, Vegeta also looked at Beerus expectantly. In the current situation, their only hope is Beerus and Whis. Bupa is the object of Frieza's allegiance, and as is his disciple. He can't point Son Goku and Vegeta, who are not relatives. Looking at Son Goku and Vegeta, Beerus said indifferently, Whis can open up a dimensional space. The passage of time in that is not much different from what you call a time house, but it has no time limit and is more dangerous. If you want to cultivate, then I can ask Whis to let you in and try, but if you die inside, it's your own problem. 5. Dimensional space, stronger than time house. Hearing this, Son Goku and Vegeta were excited. If that's the case, then they'll definitely be able to beat Frieza and Azer. Looking at each other, Son Goku and Vegeta hurriedly said, please Beerus-sama. Lord Beerus, we can provide you with all the delicacies on Earth, unlimited. It is good. Hearing this, Beerus' eyes lit up. Unlimited delicacies from the Earth, doesn't this mean that he can live a good life of eating, sleeping and eating in the future? Thinking of this, Beerus turned his head to look at Whis and said, Whis, what do you think? It's fine, Beerus-sama. With a slight smile, Whis said calmly, but first, we must return to the Gods of Destruction world. After all, my power can only be fully displayed within the Gods of Destruction world, otherwise this Earth will be easily destroyed. It is good. Nodding his head, Beerus got the answer he wanted, and immediately stopped talking nonsense, continued to eat the food, and said vaguely, you will find Whis later. Yes. Hearing this, Son Goku and Vegeta nodded heavily. They can't wait right now. After all, the Frieza father and son have become stronger, and they are not to be outdone, and they must become stronger to defeat Frieza and Azer. At the other end, Broly also burst out quietly at the moment. With the terrifying breath swept out, his figure suddenly stood up from the ground. In the next second, the evil aura around Broly swept out, and the whole person's chi was soaring rapidly. 500 Gai, 5000 Gai, 50. When it reached 50, Broly's whole body was lifted abruptly. At this moment, the system prompt sounded in Bupa's ear. Ding. The bound character Broly's combat power has increased by 49.9 to trigger a tenfold return, and congratulations to the host's increased combat power of 499 Ding. The bloodline of the bound character Broly has been upgraded to the first-class super bloodline of the Legend of Evil. The super bloodline triggers 10 times the return, and congratulations on the evolution of the host's bloodline to the top-level super bloodline. For a moment, Bupa felt his whole body boiling with energy. Under the blessing of the mysterious state, he suddenly increased by 4,999 rang. At the same time, the improvement of blood vessels also made the potential in Bupa soar rapidly. In this case, Bupa's original 4-ditch combat power is also rapidly improved, 40-ditch, 400-ditch. After reaching the level of 400 grooves, Bupa's own basic combat power stopped growing. Break 197. At this moment, Broly's low roar resounded. Looking at the sound, it can be seen that his body has begun to grow, and the height of more than 7 meters is interrupted in just a few breaths. In an instant, Broly's chi soared 100 times, thus reaching about 5,000 kinds. Impressively, after the bloodline was raised, Broly's anger state has also been strengthened. Although it is not as good as Broly's 3-stage 1,000-fold increase, it is also a full 100-fold increase. Not only that, after completing the transformation of the angry state, Broly clenched his fists suddenly and drank in his mouth. In the next second, the crimson brilliance shone brightly. It can be seen that Broly immediately transformed into a Super 4 form, and in an instant, Broly's chi soared again to the point of 400 grooves. After doing all this, Broly's whole body began to emit grass-green air. With the improvement of blood, his super transfer mode can also start to display. Immediately afterwards, Broly shouted again, "Ha!" It can be seen that he directly entered the super transfer mode, and the whole person's combat power increased by 1,000 times again, from 400 ditch to 40 gully. In an instant, Broly's violent breath swept the world. At this moment, the entire earth vibrated crazily, and the terrifying evil aura made people feel as if the end of the world had come. Chapter 261 Broly's Jiao Transformation, Terrifying 13th Order Combat Power. This air. At the same time, the expressions of Beerus and the others who had just eaten and drank in the western capital changed. They all felt the terror and surging of this breath, especially the unbridled evil atmosphere made Beerus frown. Whis. Subconsciously, Beerus said, "What is this evil aura?" Mr. Broly. Without selling out, Whis said immediately, "It should be the change that happened after Mr. Broly refined the blood of Saiyan the Evil." 5. The blood of Saiyan, the Evil One, activated the blood vessels in his body, and even allowed the blood vessels to evolve. But it was also contaminated with the aura of Saiyan, the Evil One, which also caused his aura to become evil. 55. What? It's Broly. Hearing this, Son Goku and the others all shrank their pupils. Although the previous Broly felt domineering, he was still extremely kind. But now this breath is so evil, they didn't even think about Broly before. Now that Whis has confirmed it, their hearts are horrified at the moment. Blood of Saiyan of Evil. 35. It suddenly became so much stronger. On the contrary, Vegeta clenched her fists tightly at the moment. Her eyes were full of jealousy. He doesn't care about justice or evil. Broly's anger suddenly increased so much, which was the biggest stimulus for Vegeta. Thinking of this, Vegeta immediately stood up and said, "I'll go take a look first." After he finished speaking, he had no appetite, and hurried towards the area where Bupa and the three were. "Vegeta, wait for me." Seeing this situation, Son Goku also put down the things in his hand and followed. He is also very curious about what has changed in Broly now. This aura has become too much stronger. Even in a sense, Broly's power has surpassed Bororian, and even surpassed the previous Azer. Whis, let's go over and take a look. 2.99. Beerus stood up and said curiously at the moment. Immediately afterward, Beerus, Whis and Son Gohan all rushed towards the area where Bupa was located. Gudu. In the field area, Broly swallowed subconsciously as he looked at Broly, who was exuding all his strength at the moment. Immediately afterwards, Borolian's eyes became a little horrified, and he walked up to Bupa and said, "Big brother, how is the second brother now? Although I feel that he has become stronger, it seems that something is wrong. This breath is too evil, and it even makes people feel bone-chilling, which is not good news." Hearing this, Bupa looked at Borolian who was beside him. Immediately, his eyes focused on Broly, and he secretly said in his heart, "System, check Broly's information." 55. In the next second, Broly's message appeared in front of his eyes. Broly, race, Saiyan of Evil, bloodline, superior bloodline, combat strength, 50. Transformation, anger state, intermediate, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, Quan Super Mode, Quan Super 2. Abilities, Kaio-ken, Prince Tactics, Final Flash, Add Loyalty, 100. Saiyan of Evil. Has race changed? Intermediate Rage State. This is the second stage Rage State. After reading Broly's message, Bupa's eyes flashed, and he was suddenly thoughtful. As things stand, Broly is fine. Although he has become Saiyan of Evil, the improvement of Bloodline is enough to make up for it all. It's just that the future is likely to be regarded as a bad person, but the power is only strong and weak, not good or bad, so it is meaningless. Thinking of this, Bupa said immediately, "Don't worry." Broly has now completed the improvement of his bloodline, which has also led to him being compatible with the transformation mode of Super Tournament and Quan Super just like you. It's just that he was a little unstable when he first mastered this power, so it still needs a little time to stabilize. I see. After listening to Bupa's narration, Bororian suddenly realized, and he sighed with relief. After all, Broly is his second brother. He also doesn't want to see anything wrong with the other party. Okay, let's wait. 39. At this time, Bupa waved his hand and walked to the side area to sit down. Seeing this situation, Boluolian came over immediately. Immediately afterwards, Bororian's eyes focused on Broly, while Bupa began to check his own information. Bupa, race, Saiyan, bloodline, top level transcendent bloodline, combat strength, 400 grooves. Add, transformation, anger state, advanced, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, Super Saiyan mode, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan pink. Ability, Kaio-ken, time flash, free extreme omen, final flash. High level rage state. That is to say, my anger state can increase the combat power 1,000 times like Bluolian. After seeing his own situation, Bupa's breathing suddenly quickened. The superposition of Kesai and Quan Jiao is enough to make his strength soar, and now his anger state has improved so much, which is simply a pleasant surprise. Thinking of this, Bupa began to make serious calculations. His basic combat power has now reached 400 gauges, and his anger state will be increased by 1,000 times, and his basic combat power will then reach 40 gauges. This also means that his basic combat power has reached the level of 10th order. In addition, the Super 4 form can increase the combat power by 800,000 times, then his combat power will soar to 3.2, which is about 12th order. In this way, even if he does not activate the Super Transfer mode, his strength is enough to compete with Beerus, who is going all out. Not to mention that he can also activate the Super Transfer mode. If the limit erupts, it can even make his own combat power reach the level of 13th order. Good. After thinking about it carefully, Bupa couldn't help laughing out loud. Tier 13 combat power. This is beyond the limits of Gods of Destruction. This also means that within the main universe, he is also considered a powerhouse. Even if it is not as good as Angel, Grand Angel, Xenogard and Grand Priest, but it has already left the stage of Gods of Destruction. The most important thing is that Bupa vaguely felt that after his bloodline was promoted to the top Quan Jiao, the power of the Quan Jiao mode has also been enhanced to a certain extent. Just like Bo Luolian, his Super Transfer mode has been enhanced by 1,000 times at once. That's still the Quan Jiao mode, not the Quan Jiao 2 stage. Now that he has learned the transformation of Quan Jiao 3, how can it be improved to what extent? Chapter 262 Shocked Beerus, Son Gohan's self-report. Add, brother, why are you so happy? At this time, Bo Luolian asked curiously. I am naturally happy when my strength improves. 35. After returning to his senses, Bupa glanced at Bluolian, and then said, Bororian, your potential is not inferior to Broly's. Although he refined the blood of Saiyan of Evil and turned himself into Saiyan of Evil, his bloodline is only on the same level as you. So, in the future, you have to redouble your efforts to cultivate and try to catch up with the current Broly as soon as possible. Hearing this, Boluolian's expression instantly became solemn. He also understood what Bupa was referring to, and even more clearly that this was Bupa's expectation for him. Immediately, Bororian said, Brother Bupa, don't worry, I will definitely practice hard. And I can feel that my bottleneck has been broken, and I just need to practice hard, and my strength will definitely improve rapidly. At that time, I will definitely catch up with the second brother as soon as possible, and then work hard towards the strength of the elder brother. 99. Hearing this, Bupa smiled slightly. It takes a lot of hard work to work hard towards your own level. After all, his ultimate combat power has reached the 13th order, which can be said to have surpassed the stage 197 of Gods of Destruction. Although Bluolian has a lot of potential, it is still quite difficult to reach such a level, and it is not something that can be accomplished overnight. Call out. Call out. At this moment, a sound of breaking through the air came. Looking around, I could see Beerus, Whis, Son Goku, Vegeta and Son Gohan hurriedly approaching. After arriving at the area inside the arena, their eyes were locked on Broly for the first time. Feeling the evil and powerful aura on his body, everyone's eyes showed a trace of astonishment. Jian level combat power. After Broly's promotion this time, he actually reached level 10 directly. Opening his mouth, Beerus was a little surprised, The Saiyan blood essence of evil has such a powerful potential. Jian level combat power? Tier 10 combat power? Hearing this, the three of Son Goku looked at each other with a hint of doubt in their eyes. Immediately afterwards, Son Goku opened his mouth and asked, Lord Beerus, we can understand the battle strength of the gully, which means that Broly's current battle strength has reached the stage of the gully, apostrophe. But what is the 10K level combat power? As soon as these words came out, everyone looked at Beerus, including Bororian is no exception. Whis, please explain. 95. Seeing this, Beerus waved his hand without any intention of explaining it himself. Yes, Lord Beerus. As soon as he agreed, Whis did not hesitate. After seeing Son Goku and the others, he immediately said, in the main universe, our strength is divided into 20 levels. The Gai level combat strength corresponds to 6, the Z level combat strength corresponds to 7, the Rang level combat strength corresponds to 8, the Groove level combat strength corresponds to 9, and the Jian level combat strength corresponds to 10. Attention! Tier 10 combat power corresponds to gods of destruction like Lord Beerus. In other words, Mr. Broly now has gods of destruction level combat power, and he is not a weak existence within gods of destruction. Add his. After listening to Whis' remarks, Son Goku and the others couldn't help but take a deep breath. Tier 10 combat power corresponds to gods of destruction. After refining the blood of Saiyan, the evil, Broly suddenly had a combat power comparable to gods of destruction. You must know that before that, Broly's limit was only at the rank of rank. If you convert it, his previous combat power was only about rank 8. Now that it is suddenly soared to the 10th order, this is a terrifying improvement. Gyudu. Swallowing his saliva, Son Goku said in disbelief, isn't Saiyan, the evil one, raising his blood too much? It's also Saiyan, why the gap is so big, and it's getting bigger. 35. This remark immediately aroused Vegeta's approval. Only Son Gohan and Bluo on the side were silent. They were also of special bloodline, and they knew very well that ordinary Saiyan couldn't compare. No. At this time, Bupa on the side waved his hand and said immediately, the Saiyan blood essence of evil is just activating the blood vessels in Bupa's body. Broly's ascension actually has little to do with Saiyan's blood essence. The main reason is that his bloodline has been elevated to a superior bloodline comparable to that of Boluolian. 99. In this case, his basic combat power will soar from the Gai level to the Z level. Apart from that, his strength can reach such a level, and the more important thing is the state of anger. The superposition of the three transformations of the Super Game and the Super Transfer mode. This kind of power can also be achieved by Boluolian, but it has not yet been cultivated. Son Gohan can also reach it, although it is only a second-class Super Sports bloodline. His limit is not inferior to Broly. Hearing this, Son Goku and Vegeta were even more shocked. It's not just Broly who authored the special, it's also Broly and Son Gohan, and many more. Suddenly, Vegeta seemed to think of something, turned his head sharply to Son Gohan and said, when did you have the bloodline of the Super Saiyan God? 5. You are the son of Kakarot. He doesn't even have the bloodline of Super Saiyan. How did your bloodline come from? As soon as these words came out, Son Goku also looked at Son Gohan curiously. He would not doubt Son Gohan's origin. After all, Son Goku knows how the latter came. But Son Gohan actually has the bloodline of the Super Ace God now, which has to make Son Goku puzzled. It was caused by Lord Bupa giving me a certain amount of Super Saiyan spirit and blood. 99. Glancing at Vegeta, Son Gohan didn't hide it and said directly, after refining it, my bloodline has also changed. The blood of Jiao is combined with my mysterious state, completely transforming the mysterious state into a normal state. This also leads to the fact that every time I increase my combat power by 1 point, I can increase it by 1000 points under the increase of the mysterious state. It is for this reason that I was able to cultivate the basic combat power to such a level in a short period of time. I see. After listening to Son Gohan's remarks, Beerus and others were all at a loss. No wonder he didn't get the guidance of Whis. But Son Gohan has improved more than Son Goku and Vegeta, and even became stronger. It turned out that his bloodline had also changed, and it was still the bloodline of the Super Saiyan God. Gohan, you are too good. At this time, Son Goku spoke subconsciously, his eyes full of envy. Mysterious state has become the norm, and it can also transform into Super Saiyan God, which is not inferior to Broly and Bororian. Chapter 263 Beerus' suspicion, Whis is covering. Having said this, a hint of envy and yearning flashed in Son Goku's eyes. Not only him, but also Vegeta. Jiao's spirit and blood directly changed Son Gohan's bloodline, and even gave him the potential to rival Quan Jiao. It's a pity that this is not something they can have, which makes Son Goku and Vegeta extremely disappointed. But they have nothing to do about it. After all, some things are really beyond their reach. Good, not bad. 5. At this time, Beerus nodded thoughtfully, and after taking a deep look at Son Gohan, he had some other thoughts and emotions in his heart. Immediately afterwards, Beerus said quietly, Broly's improvement this time is indeed huge, but the evil spirit in him is also a big problem. Such a vile aura, whether it's within that universe, is a huge trouble. Bupa, even though you are a Supreme Kai candidate, this kind of thing is probably too hard to control. After all, the gods of destruction and angel of your universe probably won't allow him to exist. Having said that, Beerus looked at Bupa thoughtfully. At this moment, his heart is more curious, even temptation. He could clearly feel that Bupa's situation seemed to be different from what he knew. Although he didn't know the specific difference, he could vaguely sense that something was wrong. Don't worry. 35. Glancing at Beerus, how could Bupa fail to see that the latter was testing himself? But at this moment, he didn't care much anymore, and after taking a look at Beerus, he said, this matter itself is not a big problem. No one in my universe can be against Broly unless they beat me first. As soon as these words came out, Son Goku and others only took it for granted. But Beerus' face also changed quietly. The fact that Bupa can say something like this means that in the universe he's in, there's almost no one to match him. Although Beerus recognizes his ability, it is a bit bizarre that the latter can say such words as a Supreme Kai candidate. Subconsciously, Beerus seemed to have thought of something, looked at Bupa and said, Bupa, are you not a simple Supreme Kai candidate? 99. Certainly. Glancing at Beerus, Bupa said indifferently, I never said I was a Supreme Kai candidate. It's just that Beerus, you think I'm a Supreme Kai candidate. Hearing this, Beerus' expression changed for a while. After all, under such circumstances, the fact that things had developed to such a point really made him feel a little uneasy. If Bupa is really not a Supreme Kai candidate, what is his identity? What is the purpose of entering the 7th universe? The most important thing is, what is the origin of Bupa? Why is it possible to do so? Subconsciously, Beerus said, Bupa, Master Beerus. However, before Beerus could finish speaking, Whis on the side was the first to say, now is not the time to struggle with these issues. 5. I feel that Lord Champa has appeared in the 7th universe, and has been there for a long time. What? Champa? Hearing this, Beerus shrank his pupils and looked at Whis subconsciously. What's going on? How could Champa be in the 7th universe? Shouldn't he be in his 6th universe? At this moment, Beerus' face turned ashen. Not because of Champa, but more because he saw that Whis was covering for Bupa. This also means that there is something between Bupa and Whis that he does not know, and the latter's actions in the 7th universe are likely to be related to Whis. Although I don't know why, but at this moment, Beerus also felt a little bad. As his squire, Whis logically couldn't hide anything from him. But now it's clear that there's some entanglement between Whis and Bupa, and it's even clear that he's left out of it. This also means that it is very likely that this device will be related to his own safety, or even wish beads. Glancing at Beerus, Whis smiled lightly and said, Lord Champa is currently collecting wishing beads in the 7th universe. 35. And all the wishing beads of our 7th universe will be taken away soon. Zero ask for flowers 0. What? Hearing this, Beerus' face changed greatly. Wishing beads. He knew that Whis was referring to the Super Dragon Ball and not the scraps on Earth and Namek. Champa actually collects the 7th universe wishing beads secretly, which means that Champa is probably doing something bad. For a while, Beerus didn't care to think about the relationship between Whis and Bupa, and immediately said, what are you waiting for? Take me to Champa immediately. 35. Yes, Lord Beerus. 27. Hearing this, Whis smiled slightly and stepped forward to take Beerus away. Lord Beerus, what about us? 39. Seeing this, Son Goku and Vegeta were a little anxious. They finally asked Lord Beerus to help them in their cultivation. If something went wrong, it would be unimaginable. Taking a look at Son Goku and Vegeta, Beerus frowned slightly, and then said, you two should come with me too. 5. Although Beerus was not very happy in his heart, but from the current situation, almost all of the people present have something to do with Bupa, including Son Gohan is no exception. On the contrary, Son Goku and Vegeta's relationship with Bupa is not very good. It's just a chance to let the two help him to investigate Bupa secretly, and he can also test Whis. It is good. Yes. Hearing this, Son Goku and Vegeta were overjoyed. Immediately afterwards, the two quickly came to Beerus' side. After all this was done, Beerus said immediately, Whis, let's go. Yes, Lord Beerus. 35. Nodding, Whis looked up at Bupa before waving his scepter and hurried away with the three of Beerus. Interesting. 35. Did Whis want me to reveal Kael's existence? Seeing this, Bupa's eyes flashed, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly, but his eyes also turned to Son Gohan and Bororian in the area next to him. After a little pondering, Bupa said, Borolian, Son Gohan, you two should go to the time house to cultivate for a while. I'm here waiting for Broly to wake up, and then I'll go to the time house to find you. 7. Chapter 264 Broly Awakens, Saiyan Malpractice of Evil. Yes. 35. Hearing this, Son Gohan and Bororian looked at each other. They had a vague sense that something was wrong between Bupa and Beerus, but they couldn't say why at the moment. After looking at each other, They didn't hesitate to leave in a hurry, going to the time house to practice. This is also an extremely good choice for them, especially when Frieza and Azer are among them. They can completely become their target of training. Call out, call out. In the blink of an eye, the two figures disappeared. Who's Hilda 99? Seeing this, Bupa smiled slightly. Although Beerus had noticed something was wrong, he didn't care, because his purpose is about to be accomplished. It was originally planned to wait for the 7 Super Dragon Ball 19-7 to gather together and then use the Super Shenron to boost Broly's bloodline. But the blood of Saiyan, the evil one, has also helped him accomplish this. Therefore, under such circumstances, there is absolutely no need for him to continue wasting time. All you need to do next is get that Super Dragon Ball in your hands. Although Champa has already won 6 Super Dragon Balls, as long as he takes the lead in winning the last Super Dragon Ball, all this will be meaningless. Thinking of this, Bupa turned to look at Broly beside him, and muttered, it should be almost there. After such a long time, he should have already completed his own breakthrough. 99. Seemingly confirming Bupa's words. The breath around Broly's body at this moment has begun to gradually calm down. Broly's closed eyes snapped open as the evil aura gradually introverted. Big brother. The first time, Broly noticed the existence of Bupa, and at this moment there was a hint of joy in his eyes, and he said, thank you, big brother. I feel like I've gotten a lot stronger all of a sudden. At this moment, Broly looked at Bupa with gratitude. He is very clear why he has improved so much strength, and he knows more about the evolution of his own bloodline. After all, it was all because of the blood of Saiyan, the evil one. He would never have gotten to this point if Bupa hadn't given it to himself. It can even be said that without the blood of Saiyan, the evil that Bupa gave him, he would not have a higher limit at all. It doesn't have to be. 39. Waving his hand, Bupa said indifferently, Bupa, you don't have to be so emotional. On the premise of your breakthrough, I have also been greatly improved, so you don't have to blame yourself for the evil Saiyan blood. But now that you have become Saiyan of evil, the chi in your body has become extremely evil, which needs to be tempered. 95. Only by mastering the Saiyan bloodline of evil can you perfect yourself. It's like you are now, although you have already displayed the Quan Jiao mode, but you can't perform the transformation of the Quan Jiao 2 in this state. All this is because the power of Saiyan, the evil one, is affecting you. So, in order to prevent this power from causing you to lose your mind, you have to work hard to master it. Hearing this, Broly looked solemn. As Bupa said, he can also feel the effect of this evil aura on himself. This was also the reason why he had already made a breakthrough before, but it was still difficult for him to wake up in a short period of time. The surge of evil energy forced him to suppress it, but this suppression also made him unable to escape within a short period of time. Big brother. 35. Subconsciously, Broly said, then is there a way to get rid of it as soon as possible? That evil aura has a huge impact on my sanity, and I feel that Shenron's power is also weakening, and it seems that he can no longer suppress his sanity. Hearing this, Bupa frowned. Shenron's power is not enough, which is really something he didn't expect. But because of this, Bupa also understands that Broly's situation must be resolved as soon as possible. After all, under such circumstances, once an accident occurs, the consequences are unimaginable. As soon as he thought of this, Bupa immediately said, leave this matter to me. General Shenron's power is no longer enough to suppress your current situation, so you can only wait for Super Shenron. Super Shenron? Hearing this, Broly's eyes showed a hint of doubt. Immediately afterwards, he stepped forward and asked in confusion, Big brother, what is Super Shenron? Will it solve my current situation? At this moment, Broly is extremely looking forward to it. 0. After all, he didn't want to lose his mind either, so he could easily become a machine that only knew how to kill. Good. That's what the 7th universe and 6th universe have in common. Nodding, Bupa said indifferently, if nothing else, the Super Dragon Ball should have appeared by now. However, I originally planned to grab a Super Dragon Ball and leave. But now that your situation has become like this, you need to wait for a while. Only by obtaining Super Shenron can your situation be completely resolved. Besides that, it will take about a year before Super Shenron's wishes come true, and then we will be able to get the Super Dragon Ball back. Hearing this, Broly looked solemn. Go back. This is definitely serious business. After all, the 7th universe is good, but compared to GT universe, there is no sense of belonging here. The most important thing is that he also felt that things were not good under this matter. With the constant contact with the people of the 7th universe, he has also understood how huge the gap between the two sides is. In such a situation, their strength is completely insufficient, so this also leads to a huge danger of staying in the 7th universe. Thinking of this, Broly immediately said, brother, wouldn't we be even more dangerous? No need to worry. In response, Bupa smiled indifferently, and then said, Beerus can't help me now. Other than that, Whis wasn't going to shoot me, so we didn't have to worry about anything at all. And it doesn't matter if you stay on for an extra year, it's just that you can study with Whis for a while. And I also need to improve Ultra Instinct. After coming to the 7th universe for such a long time, although my strength has improved, The cultivation of Ultra Instinct has not yet been completed. After I have completely perfected Ultra Instinct, I can teach it to you, and then you will be able to master this method and completely ensure your own safety. Chapter 265 Broly's Expectation, Gods of Destruction Meeting. Ultra Instinct. Hearing this, Broly's breathing was suddenly three-pointed. He has seen the horror of Ultra Instinct before, and he is more aware of the power and horror of this technique. It's just that he has been unsure of learning, or even unable to learn, which also caused him to not care too much. After all, what cannot be learned? If you insist on learning, you may gain something, but it will also waste too much time. But now that Bupa says he can teach it to himself, it really makes Broly feel a little invincible. Brother, is it really possible? 99. Subconsciously, Broly asked. At this moment, his expression was even a little apprehensive, uneasy, and even looking forward to it. Sure. With an indifferent smile, Bupa looked at Broly and said, "You forgot what I taught you about Kaio-ken back then. The teaching of that method does not require anything, as long as I grasp its true meaning. Now I should be able to perform such a method once, so as long as I practice Ultra Instinct to the extreme, I can completely teach it to you." Hearing this, Broly was overjoyed. He can remember the scene when Bupa passed 20 and gave himself the Kaio-ken. That is completely without any preconditions, and even you can directly grasp it at once. Thinking of this, Broly said immediately, "Brother, let's go next." 35. Go to heaven first. Looking at Broly, who was about to move, Bupa smiled indifferently, and then said, "Beerus has already gone to find that Champa. If nothing else, they will soon come to an agreement. None of the Super Dragon Balls have been found yet, but the two gods of destruction are almost impossible to fight. The biggest possibility is that they compete with each other, and if so, that's the chance for you and me to plan that Super Dragon Ball." Hearing this, Broly was enlightened. Immediately afterwards, a trace of excitement appeared in his eyes. After all, if this all continues as Bupa expects it to be, it's definitely a good thing for them. Thinking of this, Broly immediately said, "I listened to Big Brother." Immediately afterwards, Broly and Bupa didn't hesitate, turned around and galloped in the direction of the time house. At the other end, Beerus, Son Goku, and Vegeta quickly walked through the universe under the leadership of Whis. As they continued to advance, their goals also pointed directly to the realm of gods of destruction. "Whis, isn't this the way back to gods of destruction?" At this time, Beerus seemed to notice something, frowned and said, "Didn't we go to Champa? Why go back to the gods of destruction world?" As soon as these words came out, Son Goku and Vegeta also looked at Whis subconsciously. They are also quite curious at the moment. Lord Champa went to the gods of destruction world. In this regard, Whis did not hide anything, glanced at Beerus and said, "It seems that the search for the wishing beads is not very smooth. So Lord Champa has arrived in the gods of destruction world, and he should be looking for it with the power of Lord Beerus." Hearing this, Beerus raised his brows, and his eyes flashed. "It's not going well? How can that be? With the power of Vados, it stands to reason that no wishing beads can escape her search." Hearing this, Whis smiled indifferently, and then said, "Lord Beerus doesn't know something. There are 7 wishing beads in total. The 6th universe has 3, the 7th universe has 3, but the other is somewhere between the 6th universe and the 7th universe. 99. This also means that it is difficult to detect itself, and even Angel can't find him casually. Unless the angels of the two universes exert their strength at the same time, then it can only lock its true position in such a situation." "I see." After listening to Whis' remarks, Beerus suddenly realized. After understanding what was going on, Beerus was also eager to say at the moment, "If that's the case, then I'm relieved." 35. That guy Champa can't find the existence of the last wishing bead. I believe he should be extremely anxious at this moment. Speaking of which, a smile appeared on Beerus' face. He was quite happy about the latter situation, and at the same time he understood that Whis' previous words were obviously to prevent him from questioning Bupa. But Beerus didn't ask anything this time. After all, some things can't be answered by asking him. Xiuichi, Xiuichi. The sound of breaking through the air resounded, and the 7 color beams soon entered the gods of destruction world. Wait for the 7 color beam to float to the ground. Beerus, Son Goku, Vegeta and Whis have just stabilized. At this moment, a sound of breaking the air followed. Looking at the sound, another beam of light could be seen galloping fast, and it was Champa and Vados. Soon, the figures of Champa and Vados appeared in the area in front of Beerus and others. Beerus, 35. Stepping forward, Champa said proudly at this moment, "Long time no see." Champa, seeing the person coming, a trace of anger flashed in Beerus' eyes, and then he said, "You dare to run into my 7th universe to steal something? You know that you are provoking me, or do you want to practice with me?" Saying that, Beerus suddenly had a look of eagerness to try, as if he was going to continue fighting with him. 200. Beerus, do you think I'm afraid of you? Seeing this situation, Champa raised his brows, looked at Beerus angrily, and said angrily, "What, to steal or not? I'm here to share the food with you." Being interrupted by someone made Champa a little pissed off, but he couldn't say it at the moment, and it was even harder to ask how Beerus knew. This is Lord Champa. Looks like Beerus-sama. It makes me feel like a fat Lord Beerus. 99. Meanwhile, Son Goku and Vegeta are curiously looking at Beerus and Champa and talking. Especially Champa. The latter is completely the fat version of Beerus, which has to make them curious. Mr. Goku, Mr. Vegeta. 35. Master Beerus and Master Champa are brothers. Seeing this, Whis smiled slightly, and immediately said, "Brother." Hearing this, Son Goku and Vegeta were taken aback. Although there have been speculations, it is still a little shocking to be confirmed. Immediately afterwards, Son Goku seemed to have thought of something, and subconsciously asked, since they are both gods of destruction, and they are brothers, who is more powerful, Lord Beerus or Lord Champa? Chapter 266 Champa and Beerus, Gods of Destruction conquered by instant noodles. Add. Hearing this, Whis and Vados both smiled slightly. After looking at Beerus and Champa, Vados said subconsciously, "This should be seen from the body." Hearing this, Son Goku and Vegeta looked at Beerus and Champa subconsciously, and immediately understood what was going on. Compared to Beerus, the fat Champa is obviously weaker. Subconsciously, Son Goku said, "Then Beerus-sama must be the older brother." Damn. Hearing this, Beerus smiled slightly, while Champa's face was ashen, and his eyes instantly glared at Son Goku. "Mortal, dare to talk about God, I will destroy you." 95. Saying that, Champa raised his hand in anger, and the destructive energy gathered to attack Son Goku. Not good. Seeing this, Son Goku's expression changed drastically. Although Champa is not the opponent of Beerus, he is also gods of destruction after all, with a 10th order combat power. In such a situation, it was not something that Son Goku could bear. "Enough, Champa." Yeah. At the critical moment, Beerus scolded, "Since you are here to find me, then come with me. These two guys are the warriors I cultivated in the 7th universe. You can't do it at will. It just so happens that I also have a lot of delicious food here. Let me see if what you bring can be comparable to it." Hearing this, Champa raised his brows and glanced at Beerus subconsciously. "Do you still have delicious food here?" "Beerus, are you pretending to be on purpose? You have something delicious in the 7th universe. I've been here a few times, and nothing you've served me is good." Add. Hearing this, Beerus twitched the corners of his mouth, looked at Champa angrily and said, "Do you believe it or not?" "Whis, Son Goku, Vegeta, let's go." After speaking, Beerus walked towards his palace. Yes. Seeing this, the three of Whis did not hesitate, and immediately followed Lord Champa's factory. When the four of Beerus left, Vados, who was beside him, walked up to Champa and said, "Are we going in?" It seems that Beerus-sama has something more delicious in his hands. Humphrey. Hearing this, Champa came back to his senses and snorted coldly. How can Beerus know what delicious food is? "Come on, Vados, I'm going to defeat Beerus with my treasure so he can give me the last wishing bead." With that said, Champa walked forward confidently. Seeing this, Vados' eyes flashed, and he immediately followed. Soon, a group of people entered the palace. After sitting at the table, Beerus waved his hands casually and said, "Come on, Champa, let me see what you call delicious food." Humphrey. Seeing this, Champa let out a cold snort. Although he didn't know where Beerus' confidence came from, the latter's current situation made him extremely unhappy. Immediately afterwards, Champa wanted to slap Beerus in the face even more, and immediately said, "Vados, take the things out." "Yes, Lord Champa." Saying that, Vados waved his hand to take out the lunchbox and release the eggs that Champa treasured. Throwing the eggs into the area where Beerus was, Champa said proudly, "This is the best thing to eat, Beerus. You should try it too." Compared to the deliciousness of the 6th universe, the food of your 7th universe is simply unbearable. Hearing this, the corner of Beerus' mouth twitched. He was quite unhappy with his younger brother's face, but he still gave the latter a face. After breaking the egg and taking 2 bites, he immediately threw it aside without hesitation and said, "It's really unpalatable." "Champa, isn't the food in your 6th universe not so good?" "What?" Hearing this, Champa was dumbfounded and looked at Beerus in disbelief. "Beerus, you are talking nonsense. My 6th universe's stuff is absolutely the best. How can it be unpalatable?" 5. Are you afraid of losing to me and said that on purpose? Beerus, you're going too far. Superscript 16. 99. At this moment, Champa was angry. It was difficult to accept that his treasure was so despised by others, which made him extremely unhappy. Hearing this, Beerus smiled contemptuously. He knew Champa's purpose, and now he knew why the latter was reluctant to accept defeat. Thinking of this, Beerus immediately said, "Son Goku, Vegeta, bring me the instant noodles." "Yes, Lord Beerus." Hearing this, Son Goku and Vegeta nodded. Immediately afterwards, the two quickly began to prepare. Moments later, 2 bowls of hot instant noodles appeared in the area in front of Champa and Vados. After doing all this, Beerus put his chin in one hand and said immediately, "This is one of the delicacies made by the people of the 7th universe. You can try, Champa." 5. Earthling. Raising his brows, Champa glanced at Beerus, feeling vaguely uneasy. Although he hadn't eaten it yet, The aroma of the instant noodles made him swallow his saliva. Eat and eat. Resisting the unease in his heart, Champa stubbornly said a word. Immediately afterwards, he reached out and picked up the instant noodles and started eating. Almost instantly, Champa's pupils shrank, looking at the instant noodles in disbelief, unable to imagine that there is such a delicious food in the 7th universe. Wow, delicious. There is such a delicious food in the 7th universe. At this moment, Vados on the side couldn't help but sigh. For nothing else, the taste of this instant noodles is completely incomparable to the things in the 6th universe. How? At this time, Beerus looked at Champa proudly and said, there are still many such delicacies on the earth. Champa, you will not admit defeat. 35. Beerus, you. Yes. Hearing this, Champa was furious and stared at Beerus. Although he was not reconciled, he had to admit that he lost. Immediately afterwards, Champa looked at where Vados was and said, Vados, how is the earth of my 6th universe? Where do they have such delicious food? I look at Lord Champa. With a promise, Vados took the scepter and began to look to the right. Elder sister. Seeing this, Whis on the side stepped forward and immediately said, the earth is within the Milky Way. Look at the card over there. It is good. With a promise, countless planets wandered above the Vados scepter. Soon, the earth of the 6th universe appeared. After seeing it, Vados' mouth twitched, and he said subconsciously, Lord Champa, the earth of the 6th universe has been destroyed, and now it is a dead planet. There is no existence of people on earth. And there is no existence of food. Chapter 267 Gods of Destruction, Beerus Compromise. What? Destroyed? Hearing this, Champa was dumbfounded. Unbelievably, he leaned forward and looked at the destroyed earth of the 6th universe, and his face instantly turned green. Unexpectedly, the earth of the 6th universe was actually destroyed. And without the existence of earthlings, doesn't that mean that there is no such kind of food in the 6th universe? At this moment, Champa was completely angry, turned his head to look at Beerus as if he had a vendetta, and said, Beerus, I want to gamble with you. 35. If you lose, the earth of the 7th universe will belong to me, and if you win, I will give you the 6 wishing beads that I collected. In an instant, Champa's mind was burned by the flames of jealousy. I thought that finding the Super Dragon Ball would get the most delicious food, so as to tempt Beerus, and even show off his power in front of him. But now the Earthlings of the 7th universe actually have such delicious food, and there are even many kinds, which makes it difficult for Champa to accept. Also gods of destruction. Why does Beerus eat delicious food, and what he eats is junk? Wish beads. A flash of light flashed in his eyes, and Beerus' eyes showed a hint of surprise at this moment. He knew that Champa was secretly looking for the wishing beads, and now it is really unexpected that he wants to use the wishing beads as a bet in exchange for the earth. But soon, Beerus came back to his senses, glanced at Champa and said, no need. There are also wishing beads in my 7th universe, so there is absolutely no need to gamble with you. Beerus remembers Earth Shenron. Although it is extremely weak for itself, the effect is still good. Therefore, the wishing beads in Champa's hands have no allure for him. Hearing this, Champa was dumbfounded. Never thought that Beerus would speak such words. Immediately afterwards, Champa seemed to have thought of something, and said angrily, Beerus, you must agree. Otherwise, then I will destroy the earth of your 7th universe. What I don't have, you are not allowed to have. What? Hearing this, Son Goku and Vegeta were dumbfounded. Unexpectedly, Champa is so ruthless, and what he can't get is not allowed to exist. And if you don't agree, then the whole earth is still in crisis. Now their strength has improved a lot, but they are not the opponents of gods of destruction, which makes them a little impatient and worried. Subconsciously, Son Goku and Vegeta looked at Beerus and said, Master Beerus. Lord Beerus, the earth can't be in danger. Lord Beerus, if the earth is destroyed, there will be no good food. 35. Hearing this, Beerus rolled his eyes. But he also knew Champa's temper, and immediately waved his hand and said, well, how do you want to compare? Hearing this, Champa grinned. He was also quite happy with Beerus's promise. Immediately, Champa pondered for a while and said, 3 months later, you and I will each send 5 people to play. Whoever fights to the end will win. It is good. Hearing this, Beerus nodded, looked at Son Goku and Vegeta and said, then the game will be played in 3 months. 35. But Champa, if you lose, it's not just about giving me the wishing beads, but also admitting that I'm the older brother. Humphrey. 99. Hearing this, Champa snorted coldly, stared at Beerus and said, similarly, you will be your younger brother after you lose. After speaking, Champa didn't stay any longer, jumped out of his seat and said, Vados, let's go. Yes, Lord Champa. With a promise, Vados immediately followed. Moments later, Vados and Champa disappeared from the world of gods of destruction. Wise. After Champa left, Beerus' face became serious and he said, what do you think of this game? However, before Whis could speak, Son Goku on a side stepped forward looking forward and asked, Lord Beerus, can we participate? Looking at Son Goku and Vegeta, Beerus was not very satisfied. Although the strength of the two is not bad, after seeing the strength of Azer, Frieza, Son Gohan, Broly, Bororian and others. Beerus believes them more. Master Beerus, 0 flowers 0. Seeing this, Whis on the side smiled indifferently, and then said, apart from Son Goku and Mr. Vegeta, the other 3 candidates must say hello to Mr. Bupa. Frieza and Son Gohan are Mr. Bupa's subordinates, as is Mr. Bupa's disciple, and Broly and Bororian are Mr. Bupa's younger brothers. But Mr. Bupa went to the 6th universe before, and even accepted the 6th universe Saiyan as his apprentice. In this case, if you want them to take action, it depends on whether Mr. Bupa agrees. 5. Hearing this, Beerus' face instantly turned ugly. He hadn't thought about this before, but as Whis' words came out, he had already understood that this was indeed the case. Judging from the current situation, only if Bupa nods, Boluolian and others may agree to participate in the competition. On the other hand, if Bupa stops it, even if he is gods of destruction, it will be difficult for him to force anything. Whis. 55. Subconsciously, Beerus then said, is this all in your plan? 35. At this moment, Beerus looked suspicious. From Champa's appearance in the 7th universe, and even collecting wishing beads to the current 2 universes fighting each other, there is something wrong with him no matter how he sees it. Even under such circumstances, he had to ask Bupa, which had to make him suspicious. Why is Beerus-sama saying this? However, at this moment, Whis was looking at Beerus with a smile, with a stunned expression on his face. Humphrey. Seeing this, Beerus snorted and knew that Whis would not tell him the situation. But as of now, he doesn't seem to have a choice. After all, he didn't want to lose to Champa, and he couldn't give up the Earth to Champa. As soon as he thought of this, Beerus immediately said, Whis, now put Son Goku and Vegeta in the to practice. In a month, they must improve their strength as soon as possible. Besides, you and I will go to Earth to find Bupa. I need his people to help defeat the 6th universe guy. As for what conditions that guy will have, as long as it's not against gods of destruction's responsibilities, then I'll accept it. 7. Chapter 268 Beerus Disturbance, Bororian's request. Hearing this, Whis laughed. However, he quickly restrained his smile, and his expression returned to his original expression. So, Lord Beerus, I will send Son Goku and Vegeta to practice first. With that said, Whis took a step and walked outside the palace. Seeing this, Son Goku and Vegeta didn't dare to neglect, and hurriedly followed. In the blink of an eye, the 3 figures left the palace. After Whis left, Beerus sighed and murmured with a complicated expression, Whis, what are you doing? Why help Bupa? What is the origin of him that made you make such a layout? At this moment, Beerus can be sure that there is some hidden relationship between Whis and Bupa, and the latter even calculated himself because of Bupa, which made Beerus extremely 200 unexpected. At the same time, his heart was extremely uneasy at the moment. He vaguely felt that something was wrong, and even felt that this matter was very important, otherwise, Whis would not be able to do such a thing. At the other end, Champa followed Vados at a rapid pace. Soon, they left the 7th universe and entered the 6th universe. Vados. After returning to the 6th universe, Champa immediately asked, how is the candidate thinking? Who are the 5 strongest people in our universe? Hearing this, Vados glanced at Champa and then said, Lord Champa, I have already checked. The 5 strongest people in our 6th universe are Hit, Kael, Gabe, Caulifla and Kael. 99. But apart from Hit, the other 4 are Saiyan. Originally, their strength did not reach such a level, but for some reason, in a short period of time, the strength of each of them has reached such a level. Even Frost, who was originally strong in the 6th universe, is no longer comparable. Hearing this, Champa raised his brows and asked with a puzzled expression, Saiyan, is that the same Saiyan as the 2 guys in Beerus Palace? Yes, Lord Champa. Nodding his head, Vados said, so, Lord Champa, shall we go to planet Saiyan or Hit first? Go to Saiyan planet first. After a little pondering, Champa then said, let me see how powerful this Saiyan is. Beerus can allow 2 Saiyans to enter his own Gods of Destruction world. Probably because he wants to train one of them to become a Gods of Destruction candidate. In that case, let me see what potential Saiyan has to make Beerus so recognized. Yes. Hearing this, Vados nodded immediately. Immediately afterwards, she no longer hesitated, and directly flew towards the Saiyan planet with Champa. Earth, heaven, outside the House of Time. Click. The door opened, and the 4 figures of Son Gohan, Azer, Frieza and Bororian could be seen walking out of the Time House. Did you come out? Seeing this, Bupa's eyes flashed, and he immediately stepped forward with Broly. Master Bupa. Brother. Master. 35. When they saw Bupa's figure, Frieza and the others immediately bowed and saluted and did not dare to neglect. Nodding, Bupa looked indifferent. After glancing at the 4 of them, he immediately opened his mouth and said, that's right, your progress has been pretty good during this time. 5. With that said, Bupa immediately began to check the information of the 4 A's. Race, Frozen Demon Race, Bloodline, Ancient Frozen Demon Bloodline. Combat Strength, 8000. Transformation, Silver Form, Gold form. Ability, Interstellar Destruction Cannon, Destruction Beam. Loyalty, 98. Frieza, Race, Frozen Demon Race. Bloodline, Superior Bloodline. Combat Strength, 50 Ki. Transformation, Silver form. Gold form. Ability, Destruction Light, Destruction Disc. Loyalty, 92. Son Gohan, Race, Saiyan. Bloodline, Second Class Super Race God. Combat Strength, 10. Transformation, Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan Pink. Ability, Magic Flash, Kamehameha Wave, Magic Light Cannon. Loyalty, 100. Bororian, Race, Saiyan. Bloodline, Superior Bloodline. Combat Strength, 50. Transformation, Anger, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan Mode. Ability, Final Flash, Destruction. Add. Loyalty, 98. Good. After reading the information of the four, Bupa's eyes showed a hint of satisfaction. 0. Whether it's Azer, Frieza, Son Gohan or Bororian, their breakthroughs are huge. And based on the 6 years of cultivation, their own strength has also been greatly enhanced, especially Bororian and Son Gohan. The speed at which the basic combat power of the two of them improved should not be unpleasant. If the two were not Azer's opponents before, then now whether it is Son Gohan or Bororian, they have the possibility to compete with them in a real sense. Thinking of this, Bupa looked at Aize subconsciously and said, "Your breakthrough this time is extremely good. However, although the power is powerful now, you must be aware that you have not reached the limit, and you will need to practice harder in the future." Yes. 35. Hearing this, all four of Bluolian nodded, especially Azer and Frieza. Both clearly pointed out how powerful and terrifying Son Gohan and Bororian's breakthrough was. Under such circumstances, although their 0.7 improvement was huge, they also vaguely felt some pressure in their hearts, especially Frieza. Now he has become the weakest being. Before that, although he couldn't help Son Gohan, he wasn't too weak. But now that Son Gohan's promotion is out of his reach, it's a little hard for Frieza to accept. Brother. At this time, Bororian looked at Bupa expectantly and said, "You said before that you want to teach me the transformation of Super Saiyan 4, I wonder if it can be done now? I have a feeling that if I can complete the transformation of Super Saiyan 4, my strength will be greatly improved by then." At this moment, Bororian looked at Bupa with anticipation. After all, the increase of Super 4 is not inferior to that of Super Saiyan, and he can also transform into Quan Super Mode on this basis, so it will be even more powerful. Chapter 269 Instructing Frieza and Son, Beerus request. Add Super Saiyan 4. Hearing this, Bupa raised his brows, then looked at Bluolian and said, "Of course there is no problem. Son Gohan, do you want to try it too?" "I can too." Hearing this, Son Gohan looked at Bupa subconsciously, his eyes full of excitement. Super Saiyan 4. That is not inferior to the transformation of Jiao Sai God. If he can master it, it will also be a big improvement for his own strength. The most important thing is that Son Gohan vaguely felt that this Super Saiyan 4 is also a huge opportunity to improve his own strength. Certainly. With an indifferent smile, Bupa said immediately. "But before that, you have to ask Piccolo to pull out your tail for you. Also, before the Super Saiyan 4 transformation, you have to use the Earth's Shenron to make a wish so that you can regain your sanity after turning into a gorilla." 5. Tail. Being a gorilla has sanity. After listening to Bupa's remarks, Son Gohan nodded thoughtfully. Immediately afterwards, Son Gohan no longer hesitated, and immediately said, "So, then I will go to Uncle Piccolo and Dragon Ball now." "Lord Bupa, then I'll take 20 lines to say goodbye." After that, Son Gohan didn't hesitate, and hurriedly left the place to look for Piccolo. Master Bupa. At this time, Frieza stepped forward, looked at Bupa and said, "I dare to ask Mr. Bupa, can I also have the ancient frozen demon blood like Azer?" Add. At this moment, Frieza already felt his own inadequacy. Although he has a lot of potential, he has reached a level close to the extreme. Therefore, under such circumstances, if he wants to improve his own strength, he can freely improve his own bloodline. But Azer's bloodline was elevated because Bupa bestowed the blood of ancient demons. Therefore, he can only hope that Bupa can give him a drop of such blood, so that he can greatly improve his strength. "I no longer have the blood of ancient frozen demons." Glancing at Frieza, Bupa said with an expression on his face. Hearing this, Frieza fell silent. Actually no more. That also means that he will not have any possibility of becoming stronger. For a moment, a look of disappointment appeared on Frieza's face. "But I still have a way to help you become stronger." Seeing this scene, Bupa changed his voice. "Huh?" 35. Hearing this, both Frieza and Az looked at Bupa in surprise. "In addition to the ancient frozen demon blood, is there any way to become stronger?" Looking at each other, Azer and Frieza both looked at Bupa expectantly, and asked, "Dare to ask Mr. Bupa, what is the way to become stronger?" "Simple." With an indifferent smile, Bupa glanced at Frieza and Azer, and then said, "The first way is fusion." "Where does Supreme Kai have a thing called battery earrings? As long as you get him and give one of them to Cooler or someone with potential in the Frozen Demon clan, then you too can become one." Add. As long as you ensure that you can take the absolute initiative in the case of fusion, the potential of fusion will increase exponentially, regardless of its combat power. The second method is to use Shenron. Your frozen demon race's talent is frozen. If you can use Shenron to bring you back to the freezing period after birth, then you will be able to become stronger and increase your potential. However, if you choose this method, it will not be accomplished overnight. After all, the longer you freeze, the stronger your own strength and potential will be. After listening to Bupa's story, both Frieza and Azer were dumbfounded. These two methods, no matter which one they are, can greatly enhance their strength. However, compared to the time consuming of the second, the first one is definitely more effective for Frieza. Battery earrings. Looks like I'll have to find that Supreme Kai sometime. With a thoughtful murmur, Frieza quickly made up his mind. His potential is good within the frozen demon race, although it is not as good as Azer, but it is also a top-notch existence. In addition, there are still some potential existences in the current frozen demon race, not cooler, nor possibly left in the universe, but in the ancestral land of the frozen demon race. Before the death of Cooler and others, they all gave birth to their own children, and they are still in the freezing period. As long as he gets the battery earrings and fuses them with himself, then Frieza is sure that he can also become stronger quickly. And because the frozen guy is a baby and doesn't even have much mind, this can also ensure that after fusion, he is the main one. Azer also thought of this. At this moment, his eyes also became a little hot, and he was already the most potential existence of the frozen demon clan. If you can find a good guy to fusion, then his potential will be even stronger. As soon as they thought of this, Frieza and Azer immediately bowed and saluted. Thank you, Lord Bupa, for your guidance. 99. Thanks to Mr. Bupa for the pointer. Buzz tilde. At this moment, a humming sound resounded. Looking at the sound, it can be seen that Whis is descending from the sky with the figure of Beerus. In the next second, the two figures appeared in the area beside Bupa and the others. Without the slightest hesitation, Beerus stepped forward and said, I need your help with something. 99. Coming. Hearing this, Bupa's eyes flashed, but his heart was also excited. He's been waiting here for so long, waiting for Beerus to arrive. Now that he's here, that means the bet between Beerus and Champa is on. In this case, as long as you can seize the opportunity, you can get Super Shenron to solve Broly's hidden dangers. At the same time, after completing this matter, he can also continue to look for opportunities to capture the Super Dragon Ball, so as to complete the agreement with Kalis and return to GT Universe. Thinking of this, Bupa appeared calm and asked, Oh, I don't know what Beerus you want me to help you with. Is there anything you can't handle as gods of destruction? As soon as these words came out, Broly and others also looked at Beerus curiously. After all, the latter is the gods of destruction, and with such terrifying strength, it is logically impossible for him to accomplish anything. Help me win the gamble with the 6th universe. Taking a deep breath, Beerus immediately said, Not long ago, the 7th universe and the 6th universe selected 5 people to compete. Son Goku and Vegeta have already participated, but I still need 3 of you to participate. Chapter 270 Trading Beerus, Confessing the Co-Relationship. Gamble Contest. Hearing this, Frieza and the others looked at Beerus in astonishment. 6th universe. They also generally know some information, but now Beerus is actually going to compete with the 6th universe. Why is this? Or is there some conflict between the 6th universe and the 7th universe? Looking at each other, Aize and the others didn't speak for a while, and looked at Bupa subconsciously. After all, judging from what Beerus said, this matter is really not simple. Even if they are curious about who is the strongest in the 6th universe, can they fight with themselves and others? But they didn't dare to speak rashly. After all, from Beerus's current words, it was obvious that he was asking for others. It was an absolute surprise. It is even surprising and even expected. Looking at Beerus, Bupa did not refuse, and immediately said, I can let 3 of my men participate in the game, and even help you win. But as a price, I need access to the Super Dragon Ball. As long as you promise, then I can ensure that you will be able to win the final victory this time. Access to Super Dragon Ball. Hearing this, Beerus shrank his pupils and looked at Bupa subconsciously. How do you know? Immediately afterwards, Beerus fell silent. For nothing else, because Bupa's words at this moment really made him understand a little bit. That is that the latter seems to really know more information, even information that he does not know. This means that Bupa and Whis really have an unspeakable relationship, and even this Super Dragon Ball is the goal of their design. Thinking of this, Beerus subconsciously glanced at Whis beside him. After seeing the latter's indifferent expression, he subconsciously frowned and said, Is this your purpose? Whis, what are you trying to do? 35. And Bupa, what the hell is he trying to do with the Super Dragon Ball? Inwardly muttering, Beerus did not refuse, and immediately said, Yes, as long as you can help me win, I'll give you the right to use the Super Dragon Ball after winning Champa. 5. Done. Hearing this, Bupa laughed. The conditions are met, which means that there will be no obstacles to their own plans. Thinking of this, Bupa did not hesitate immediately, and immediately said, Frieza, Azer and Son Gohan's 3 shots are enough to help you win the 6th universe match. As for Bluolian, his strength is a bit too strong, If you are worried, you can use him as the last insurance. If Azer and others are not opponents, then only let Boluolian help you get the final victory. As soon as these words came out, Frieza and Azer suddenly became excited. They are also looking forward to seeing who the contestants of the 6th universe are. The most important thing is that once this thing is done, then they can be considered as a favor in front of Frieza. At that time, they will be able to go more smoothly when they want to find Supreme Kai and get battery earrings. After all, compared to Supreme Kai, Gods of Destruction's face is the biggest. It is good. Nodding his head, Beerus glanced at Azer, Frieza, and Bororian. Immediately afterwards, he opened his mouth and said, Champa asked to play in a month. 35. Now he should have gathered his subordinates, and it is very likely that he has started special training for them, so we have to go back to the Gods of Destruction world to practice for a while. Especially Frieza and Azer, you two will learn divine power from Whis first, and then you will definitely be able to make your own combat power even further. Divine power. Hearing this, Frieza and Azer's eyes flashed. That is the power that only gods can cultivate, and now their power is only chi. If it can be transformed into divine power, it will definitely increase its own strength. A lot of chi has improved, but at least it can ensure that his combat power can soar. Thinking of this, both Frieza and Azer's eyes also subconsciously looked at where Bupa was. Nodding his head, Bupa did not refuse, and said directly, Frieza, Azer, you two should follow Whis and Beerus to the world of Gods of Destruction first. 39. I still need to wait for Son Gohan to finish things. After helping Son Gohan to finish the Super 4, we will go to the Gods of Destruction world to join you. Yes, agreed. Azer and Frieza nodded immediately. They are also eager to go to the world of Gods of Destruction to cultivate the power of God. And Beerus didn't ask anything after seeing this situation. After all, Son Goku wants to instruct Son Gohan Super Saiyan 4 to transform, so they don't need any instructions at all. The most important thing is that Son Gohan is a super ace god, and the chi in his body has already been transformed into the power of God, so he doesn't need to learn from Azer and Frieza at all. Twice. Thinking of this, Beerus of course said, wait for Frieza and Azer to go. 35. Yes, Lord Beerus. With a promise, Whis waved his scepter. In the next second, a beam of light rose from the sky, and the four figures of Whis, Beerus, Azer and Frieza disappeared. Brother. After the four of Beerus left, Bororian looked at Bupa curiously and said, why don't you let me shoot directly? Didn't you say before that there is also Jiao in the 6th universe? Since it's good, why don't you let me try it too? Not only him, but Broly also looked at Bupa curiously. After all, if there is no accident, the existence dispatched by the 6th universe this time must be supernatural. There might even be Saiyan from the 6th universe. Yes, this is definitely a good opportunity to play against them, and they don't want to give up. Don't worry. In this regard, Bupa waved his hand, and then said, this time, you don't need to shoot right. The battle between the 6th universe and the 7th universe will not end here, and there will be more large-scale battles later. So, Boluolian, your existence does not have to be exposed, otherwise it will only become an existence targeted by others. Besides that, there won't be too many surprises in this match. The 6th universe's superpower is not enough, and you won't have any fun in fighting with it. 99. The most important thing is that Jiao Kael of the 6th universe is my woman. Hearing this, Broly and Bluolian shrank their pupils, looked at each other and exclaimed. The 6th universe Kael is a woman. 6th universe Jiao is a sister-in-law. Chapter 271 Son Gohan makes a wish. Son Goku bloodline is raised. For a time, both Bororian and Broly were dumbfounded. Unexpectedly, Jiao of the 6th universe will be a woman, and she is also a woman of Bupa. But soon, the two also calmed down, and after looking at each other, they immediately said, brother, we know. We will definitely not be disrespectful to sister-in-law in the future. Especially Broly. At this moment, his eyes were full of happiness. Not for anything else, because there were quite a few women in Bupa before, but none of them were pure Saiyans. Now Bupa has won the 6th universe's Jiao, which is definitely good news. After all, only children born after the union of pure-blooded Saiyans can ensure their own strength. Rumbling. At this moment, the roar of the entire earth resounded deafeningly. Looking at the sound, you can see that the entire earth is plunged into darkness at this moment. The sound of lightning and thunder resounded, and it could be clearly seen that Shenron appeared in a certain area of the earth. Has Shenron been summoned? Looks like Son Gohan is done. Seeing this, Bupa's eyes flashed, and he immediately said, Broly 200, Bororian, follow me. 99. After Son Gohan's wish is over, we'll go and prepare for your Super Saiyan 4 transformation. 5. After speaking, Bupa no longer hesitated, and galloped directly towards the area where Shenron was. Seeing this, Broly and Bluolian followed closely behind. On the other end, Son Gohan has pulled out his own tail with the help of Piccolo, and summoned Shenron at the same time. Gohan, what do you wish for? After summoning Shenron, Piccolo looked at Son Gohan curiously. Son Gohan told Piccolo that he was preparing for Super Saiyan 4, but he didn't tell him more. Uncle Piccolo, Leave it to me next. To this, Son Gohan didn't answer, looked up at Shenron, then stepped forward and said, Shenron, please let me stay sane when I turn into a gorilla. Hearing this, Shenron glanced at Son Gohan, then said, this wish is very simple. With that said, Shenron's eyes turned red and he started to exert his strength. Turn into a gorilla to stay sane? Does this have anything to do with the super, level Saiyan 4 transformation? Seeing this, Piccolo frowned, his eyes full of doubts and incomprehension. But he didn't continue to ask anything at the moment. He could see that Son Gohan didn't want to mention it. In other words, it's not that Son Gohan doesn't say anything, but that he doesn't know how to transform himself. Woo! At this time, Shenron finished his casting, looked at Son Gohan and said, your wish has been fulfilled. 5. Please state your next wish. 39. Hearing this, Son Gohan breathed a sigh of relief. He succeeded. Although he didn't know why Bupa asked him to do this, he also understood the importance of this matter. Thinking of this, Son Gohan raised his head and said, Shenron, can you raise my bloodline? Hearing this, Bupa, Broly and Bluolian who had just arrived in the arena area were all slightly taken aback. Unexpectedly, Son Gohan was actually enlightened, and it seemed that he had already thought of Shenron's means to improve his bloodline. Subconsciously, the eyes of Bupa and the others also turned to Shenron, waiting for his reply. I can raise your Saiyan bloodline. Under the gazes of everyone, Shenron pondered for a while and then said, but you can't improve your Super Saiyan bloodline. That is the power of the blood of God, not my power can touch. Hearing this, Son Gohan's eyes suddenly showed a hint of disappointment. Not only him, but also Bororian and Broly were disappointed. After all, if such a thing can be done, they also want to make their bloodline go further. Certainly not. With a sigh, Son Gohan pondered for a while and then said again, Shenron, can you let my dad have the blood of Jiao Sai God? Since you can't improve your own blood, you can also improve Son Gohan's. After all, Son Gohan is now a normal Saiyan bloodline, which is still very limited to his own limits. But unfortunately, Shenron still shook his head and said, I can't touch the blood of God. My biggest limit is to raise Son Goku's bloodline to the level of royalty, which is equivalent to Vegeta. 35, and after the bloodline reaches the royal level, Son Goku will not lose his mind when he turns into a gorilla. Will the royal blood become a gorilla without losing his mind? Hearing this, Son Gohan was dumbfounded. Never thought that there would be such a thing. Then why didn't you directly improve your bloodline before? For a moment, Son Gohan was extremely speechless, glanced at Shenron and said, okay, then raise my father's bloodline. There is a third wish to revive Shinhan, Dumpling, and Uncle Klin who were killed by aliens before. Okay. With a promise, Shenron no longer hesitated, and immediately started to act. As Shenron's power began to operate, the Son Goku bloodline, far within the dimension of the gods of destruction world, was elevated to the royal bloodline. For a time, Son Goku's chi became violent, and the original basic combat power increased several times in an instant. With a low drink, Son Goku turned into Super Saiyan God Blue, and the azure brilliance around him became brighter and brighter. Then, in just a few breaths, the azure brilliance around Son Goku turned into a deep blue. In an instant, a terrifying aura swept out, and directly knocked Vegeta, who was training against him, into the air. With a loud bang, Vegeta slammed into an area. But at the moment, he couldn't care about his own injury, his eyes fixed on Son Goku, who had completed his new transformation not far away, and he clenched his fists and said, how is it possible? How can Kakarot's power increase so much all of a sudden? What's the matter with the new dark blue transformation? Does Super Blue also have full power? Or is this a transformation form that surpasses Super Blue? At this moment, Vegeta's whole body cracked. Looking at Son Goku, his eyes were full of envy and hatred. Obviously, everyone cultivated together, and even the original strength of the two sides was almost the same. Why now Son Goku has improved so much at once, and even completed a new transformation? What's going on? At this time, Son Goku opened his eyes and felt that his own power was also incredible. Chapter 272 Deep Blue Son Goku, Vegeta's Desire. Son Goku was stunned by the changes in his own body. The basic combat power, which became several times stronger in an instant, made his entire strength soar to the point of 50 Gai. In addition, he has also transformed into a new dark blue mode at this moment. In this dark blue mode, Son Goku can clearly feel that his power has increased a lot. Subconsciously, Son Goku immediately raised his hand, and a Kaio-ken bullet burst out of the air, directly destroying an area in the distance. Rumbling, the sound of the explosion resounded, and the terrifying aftermath spread out, causing Vegeta in the distant area to tremble. That terrifying power is far beyond the limit that Vegeta can understand and touch, and it is not even what he can match now. Kakarot. Roaring in the mouth, Vegeta came to the area where Son Goku was located in jealousy, and asked, what's the situation with you? 39. Why did the power become so much stronger all of a sudden? And this new transformation form, how many things are you hiding from me? Did you deliberately show weakness when you discussed with me before, and didn't use all your strength to fight with me? Are you looking down on me? At this moment, Vegeta only felt that she had been deceived. This Son Goku is obviously so powerful, but he pretends to be similar to himself, which is obviously humiliating himself. No Vegeta. Hearing this, Son Goku woke up like a dream, and looking at Vegeta who had misunderstood, he quickly explained, I don't know why the power suddenly increased so much. And I don't understand why it's a whole new state all of a sudden. 9. Just now, it seemed that some special power entered my body, and then I felt a burst of blood boiling and it suddenly became like this. Hearing this, Vegeta raised her brows, her eyes a little disbelieving. But seeing Son Goku's sincere appearance, Vegeta had to admit it even though he didn't believe it. Then what is the situation? Frowning subconsciously, Vegeta said, Kakarot, tell me about your ascension this time. It is good. Looking at Vegeta with a dark complexion, Son Goku didn't dare to hide anything, and hurriedly said, my basic combat power has increased 5 times at once. Originally, my basic combat strength was only about 10 Gao, but now it is soared to 50 Gao. Not only that, my new transformation form is also extremely improved, almost twice that of the Super Blue mode. Super Saiyan God can increase the combat power by 600,000 times, Super Saiyan God Blue can increase the combat power by 6 million times, and my current Super Saiyan God Dark Blue can increase the combat power by about 12 million. 99. Hiss. After listening to Son Goku's narration, Vegeta couldn't help taking a deep breath and said with hot eyes, Super Blue is 10 times as powerful as Super Saiyan, and Deep Blue is twice as much as Super Blue. 99. Damn, why can't I complete this transformation? Kakarot, use your Super Saiyan God Dark Blue against me. I must master this transformation. At this moment, Vegeta was completely mad. The transformation of this dark blue state made him too greedy, and it was twice the combat power of Super Blue. If you can master it, then your own combat power can also soar. It is good. Hearing this, Son Goku nodded, looked at Vegeta and said, if that's the case, then Vegeta, go all out to attack. Cut. Curling his lips, Vegeta was extremely unhappy with Son Goku's victorious attitude. But he also understood that his current strength was not an opponent, and he didn't hesitate immediately. He turned into Super Blue with a loud shout and attacked Son Goku. In the next second, the two figures slaughtered each other in this metaspace. At the same time, Shenron, who was on Earth, quietly stopped moving, looked at Son Gohan and said, your wish has been fulfilled, and we will have a future. After he finished speaking, Shenron's body was dazzling, and he immediately turned into 7 Dragon Balls and dissipated all over the earth. It's over. 35 inches. Exhaled, Son Gohan breathed a sigh of relief. Under such circumstances, he has already fulfilled his wishes. Immediately afterwards, Son Gohan turned to look at the 3 Bupa not far away, and immediately said, Uncle Piccolo, I'm going to practice Super Saiyan 4 with Master Bupa. Zero ask for flowers 0. Uncle Shinshinhan and the others have been resurrected, please ask Uncle Piccolo to check it out. 35. It is good. Nodding, Piccolo did not refuse. He is very clear that he is no longer comparable to Son Gohan and others, and some things are not something he can participate in. Immediately, Piccolo did not hesitate, jumped up and hurriedly left the place. After Piccolo left, Son Gohan walked to the area in front of Bupa, bowed and saluted, meet Mr. Bupa. Nodding, Bupa glanced at Son Gohan, then said, you did a great job. But next time you can ask Shenron to upgrade your bloodline to a royal bloodline, and your basic combat power will also be improved a bit. 0. Yes. With a promise, Son Gohan's eyes flashed with anticipation. He had guessed it before, but he also chose to raise the Son Goku bloodline. It's all because Son Goku's strength is a little weak right now, and Son Goku will have to fight Frieza again soon. If he can't improve his combat power as soon as possible, Son Goku will be in danger at that time. On the contrary, Son Gohan's own strength is already good. Even if he waits for a year to improve his bloodline, it doesn't matter. Thinking of this, Son Gohan immediately said with anticipation, Master Bupa, can we go and start practicing now? Certainly. Nodding his head, Bupa glanced at Son Gohan, and then said, you all grab my shoulders, I will take you to the uninhabited planet for Super Saiyan 4 training right now. Yes. With a promise, Son Gohan, Bororian and Broly stepped forward and grabbed Bupa's shoulders. In the next second, Bupa immediately launched instant transmission and disappeared from the earth with the 3 figures. At the same time, Beerus, Whis led Frieza and Azer to the world of gods of destruction. After he floated to the ground, Beerus immediately said, Whis, it's up to you to teach them how to cultivate divine power. Open the dimensional space for me, I will practice in it for a while. 7. The Golden Ape Son Gohan. Chapter 273. Alright, Lord Beerus. Nodding, Whis glanced at Beerus and waved the scepter to open the dimensional space. Call out. Call out. Almost instantly, 2 figures sprang out of it. It can be seen that Son Goku and Vegeta came out of the dimensional space and were fighting each other in midair. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. The deafening roar resounded, and it was clear that Son Goku was getting stronger and stronger, and Vegeta was obviously in a suppressed state. Son Goku. Almost instantly, Frieza on the ground noticed Son Goku in midair. After seeing its dark blue form and the fluctuation of the transformed aura that had surpassed him, Frieza clenched his fists subconsciously and gritted his teeth. Damn! He has become stronger again. 35. A brand new transformation shape. 23 state. It's actually improved so much again. 66.99. At this moment, Frieza's whole person is not well. Although he and others have cultivated in the time house for such a long time, their strength has greatly increased, but compared to the current Son Goku, it is still far worse. Yo, a new transformation form. Mr. Son Goku has been promoted again, which is unexpected. Whis opened his mouth, a look of surprise in his eyes. Son Goku in the dark blue form of Super Saiyan God has reached the level of combat power of rank, that is, the level of rank 8. Under such circumstances, Son Goku's combat power has been completely improved, and he is considered a strong player within the universe. Cut. Bells and whistles. 55. Beerus pouted and walked into the dimensional space with a somewhat unwilling look on his face. He has seen how terrifying Saiyan's transformation enhancement is, and because of this, it is definitely a blow to him who has no racial transformation ability. Originally there was some hesitation in his heart, but at this moment Beerus made up his mind. After entering the dimensional space, Beerus began to continue to practice. Vegeta, stop. At this time, Son Goku in midair also noticed where Whis, Frieza and Azer were on the ground, and subconsciously stopped Vegeta from continuing to fight. Hearing the words, Vegeta's movements were taken aback. Subconsciously looking at Frieza and Azer on the ground, their brows immediately wrinkled. The latter went to the time house to practice, which also means that the power of Frieza and Azer has also improved a lot. But now the two of them actually appeared in the Gods of Destruction world, which made him feel a little uneasy. Mr. Goku, Mr. Vegeta. At this time, Whis on the ground said quietly, you also enter the dimensional space with you. 35. Next, I'm going to instruct Frieza and Azer to cultivate the power of the gods, just so you can practice with them. 5. Hearing this, Son Goku and Vegeta's expressions changed slightly. Whis wants to instruct Frieza and Azer to cultivate the power of the gods, which is definitely not good news. After all, once the power of the gods is mastered, Frieza and Azer will also become stronger. However, this matter is not within their control. After looking at each other, the two nodded and said, okay, we're here. With that said, the two of them flew towards the dimension space. They knew very well that they had no chance of ordering Whis right now, and the only way was to keep getting stronger. Otherwise, when Frieza and Azer master the power of God, the gap between them will be widened again, even more and more huge. Thinking of this, the two no longer hesitated, and flew directly into the dimensional space. Seeing this, Whis no longer hesitated, nodded to Frieza and Aize directly, and walked towards the dimensional space. Unnamed planet. Bupa showed up with the three of Son Gohan. After floating and landing, Bupa immediately raised his hand and said, if you want to transform into Super Saiyan 4, then first transform into a gorilla. When you transform into a gorilla with reason, and then transform into a super race, you can become a golden gorilla. On this basis, you can transform into Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3, and you can become Super Saiyan 4 at one time! Of course, the premise of all this is that you can regain your sanity after completing the gorilla transformation, otherwise there will be no possibility of transforming into Super Saiyan 4. I see. After listening to Bupa's story, Son Gohan was enlightened and finally understood why the latter asked you to make a wish. 0. Authoring, being a gorilla and staying sane is the key to Super Saiyan 4. After understanding, Son Gohan nodded immediately and said, Lord Bupa, I understand. Nodding, Bupa didn't hesitate, and immediately activated the artificial moon ability as soon as his mind moved. In the next second, a moon flew into the air. After all this was done, Bupa said, Bororian, Son Gohan, you look at the moon and transform. Son Gohan is not worried, but Bluolian, you are a super bloodline. I am not sure whether you can complete the transformation. Although both Bupa and Broly have completed it, they do not have much certainty about whether Boluolian can succeed as a super passer. I see, big brother. Nodding, Boluolian's expression also became serious. He also felt that something was wrong, and immediately raised his head and looked into the air. Thump, thump. A violent heartbeat resounded. Looking at the sound, it can be seen that Son Gohan reacted the moment he looked at the artificial moon. In just a few breaths, Son Gohan immediately transformed into a gorilla with a height of more than 5 meters. Roar. With a low drink, Son Gohan in the form of a gorilla growled. Immediately afterwards, it can be seen that its 0.7 blood-red pupils begin to quickly regain their senses. Shenron's power is still possible, which directly led to this power quickly awakening Son Gohan. Under such circumstances, Son Gohan's sanity quickly recovered, and his roar resounded. Ha! In the next second, a golden arrogance emerged, and you could clearly see that the gorilla turned into a golden appearance. It's done. Seeing this, both Bupa and Broly nodded. It's gotten to the point where Son Gohan's Super Saiyan 4 transformation is a certainty under such circumstances. Subconsciously, Bupa and Broly's eyes followed to look at Bluolian, but their brows were also slightly wrinkled. It's nothing else. Because although Bororian stared at the moon and entered a state of anger, he was unable to transform into a gorilla. Chapter 274 Super 4 Son Gohan, Bluolian's failure. Big brother, Boluolian is afraid that he won't be able to transform. Taking a panoramic view of this scene, Broly's expression changed a few times, and he subconsciously said, his anger is too strong. The potential of the ape state is directly exploited, and the possibility of turning into an ape is very low now. Hearing this, Bupa frowned. As Broly said, things are really bad for Bororian right now. It seems that the power of the artificial moon alone is not enough to make him great ape, and the power of this anger state seems to be difficult to maintain. At this moment, a low roar resounded. Looking at the sound, it can be seen that the golden gorilla roared at this moment, and then you can see the crimson brilliance. In the next second, Son Gohan's figure began to gradually appear, and it was the state of Super Saiyan 4 completed. In an instant, Son Gohan's aura grew, 20 zip, 1000 zip, 10 rang, 4000 rang. After reaching 4000 rang, Son Gohan's breath stabilized. After successfully completed the transformation of Super Saiyan 4, Son Gohan also turned into a red-haired monkey. So strong. 35. It suddenly became a lot stronger. Seeing the aura coming from Son Gohan, Broly opened his mouth subconsciously, his eyes full of astonishment. You must know that Broly's power cannot reach such a level if it is only in the Super 4 forms, but Son Gohan still did it, showing the strength of his basic combat power. Not bad. Nodding, Bupa retracted his gaze and said, although it's a bit unbelievable, it's the truth. Son Gohan has completed his Super Saiyan 4 transformation, and it looks like there's still more to come. Further, hearing this, Broly subconsciously revealed surprise and murmured, how is that possible? Big brother, if he goes further, wouldn't it be possible to reach the level of Super Saiyan 5? No. Waving his hand, Bupa raised the corner of his mouth and said, it is impossible for him to complete the transformation of Super Saiyan 5. But there is no doubt that there is a huge possibility in itself. Don't forget, he has the bloodline of Kesai God, and in a sense he is even stronger than Quan Jiao by 3 points. Hearing this, Broly's expression changed. Seemingly thinking of something, the whole person's expression followed in horror at this moment. Super Saiyan bloodline. Could Son Gohan be able to transform into a Super Saiyan God when he is a Super 4? If that's the case, doesn't it mean that his power can still increase wildly? At this moment, Broly's expression became complicated. By now, he knew exactly how terrifying Son Gohan's potential would be if that were the case. Super 4 plus Super Ace God. The superposition of these two transformations is even more terrifying than Broly's current Super 4 and Quan superposition. After all, Super Saiyan can increase his combat power by 600,000 times, and that kind of blessing is definitely not something that ordinary people can match. Good. Nodding, Bupa raised the corner of his mouth and said, it depends on the situation. If Son Gohan can do that, he will be the absolute powerhouse in the entire universe. Even Bororian isn't necessarily a match for him, but if he can't finish, it's going to go back to mediocrity. Hearing this, Broly nodded immediately. As Bupa said, if Son Gohan can do it, it must be invincible. But if it can't be done, it means nothing. At this moment, Boluolian's slow roar resounded. It can be seen that the whole body is violent, and the golden energy is bright, and the whole person directly enters the Super Ace form. But he still can't transform into a gorilla. At this moment, the powerful bloodline has caused him to completely lack the ability of ordinary Saiyan. Failed. Seeing this, Broly's eyes flashed with disappointment and said, Bororian's Super 4 transformation failed. This also means that his limit is only in the Super 3 posture, and if he cannot reach Super 4, the final change cannot occur. Indeed, judging from the current situation of Bororian, he is unable to transform into Super Saiyan 4. Compared with the super terrifying superposition of Super 4, the 800-fold increase in combat power of Super 3's transformation is obviously much worse. Come on, let's go and see. With a sigh, Bupa retracted his thoughts, and then walked towards the area where Borolian was. Seeing this, Broly also nodded. Soon, Bupa and Broly arrived at the area next to Bororian. 35. One step forward, Bupa said, if you fail, give up. Take back your transformation, your bloodline is too strong to be able to transform into a gorilla at all. Hearing this, Boluolian clenched his fists unwillingly. He has seen Son Gohan complete the transformation of the Super 4, and also feels how terrible the Super 4 is for his own increase. But in the current situation, he has no way, not even able to transform. Thinking of this, although Bluolian was not reconciled, he still dissipated his Super Ace mode and anger state. Immediately afterwards, Bluolian walked to the area where Bupa and Broly were, and said, Big brother, second brother, 203 can I really not complete the Super 4 transformation? Hearing this, Broly opened his mouth for a while, not knowing what to say. It's not impossible. 35. At this time, Bupa said quietly, Super 4, you have no hope. But Quan Jiao 4 is not impossible. Chunko 4 should be a transformation based on the state of anger, if you can reach the level of Super 3. 35. In addition to your current state of near extreme anger, you will be able to complete the transformation of Quan Jiao 4 at that time. 99. And your Quan Jiao 4 transformation will be extremely powerful, even far beyond the limit of the current stage. Quan Jiao 4. Hearing this, Boluolian nodded thoughtfully. At the same time, he also subconsciously clenched his fists and said, since this is the case, then I must reach this point as soon as possible. 39. But eldest brother, I haven't completed the transformation of Quan Jiao 2 yet. I wonder if eldest brother can give me some pointers? After speaking, Bororian's eyes were staring straight at Bupa, his eyes full of anticipation. Nodding his head, Bupa glanced at Bluolian, and then said, it just so happens that I have completed the transformation of Quan Jiao 3 before, so let's learn together with you, Bluolian and Broly. Chapter 275 New Super Saiyan God, Son Gohan's Injury. Quan Jiao 3. Hearing this, both Bororian and Broly's eyes lit up. Quan Super 3, that's a realm that they haven't touched yet. Subconsciously, the two of them looked at Bupa with anticipation and longing. Master Bupa. At this moment, Son Gohan's voice followed. Looking at the reputation, it can be seen that after completing the Super 4 transformation, he hurriedly came to the place of the three Bupa. Nodding his head, Bupa glanced at Son Gohan and said, Son Gohan, you did a good job. 55. But that's not your limit. You can try to transform into a Super Saiyan God in a Super 4 situation. Ordinary people can't do it. But you have the bloodline of the Super Race God, and it is reasonable to say that you can succeed. What? Transform into a Super Race God in a Super 4 state? Hearing this, Son Gohan's pupils shrank, and his eyes widened to look at Bupa's eyes full of incredible color. If you can really do this, doesn't it mean that you will be stronger? Master Bupa, is this really okay? Subconsciously, Son Gohan opened his mouth, and he couldn't believe it. Certainly. Nodding his head, Bupa said indifferently, it's okay if there is no accident. 55. But I'm not sure. After all, your Super Saiyan bloodline is only second class, and I don't know if you can do this. But you have nothing to lose if you try, and if you succeed, you can leap beyond Bororian, Broly, and even Azer. It is good. Hearing this, Son Gohan nodded immediately. As Bupa said, this thing only needs to be tried to know if it will work. Thinking of this, Son Gohan took a few steps back. After pulling a safe distance from Bupa and the others, he clenched his fists tightly and exclaimed, ha! In the next second, Son Gohan's whole body glowed with crimson radiance. With the emergence of the power of God, Son Gohan's appearance can be seen to change at a speed visible to the naked eye. With red hair, red eyes, red hair all over his body, and a red aura surrounding his body, his whole person is completely different from before. At this moment, Son Gohan's chi began to soar rapidly, reaching 240 in a short period of time. It became apostrophe. It was really successful. Seeing this, Broly couldn't help exclaiming. His eyes were full of horror. Son Gohan's breakthrough this time was nothing short of shocking. With the Super 4 plus the transformation of the Super Race God, this directly gave him the combat power of the gods of destruction level. The most important thing is that he still has a mysterious state, and the cultivation of his basic combat power is 1,000 times faster than that of ordinary people. This also means that as long as he is given enough time, even Bluolian and Broly will be difficult to compete with. In addition, Frieza and Azer could not be his opponents, which was simply unbelievable. It worked. It's really done. Super 4 plus Super Race God. This state is really too strong. 35. Feeling his own condition, Son Gohan was short of breath, and the whole person was crazy. I thought that I was strong enough after turning into a Super 4, but I didn't expect that I would be able to achieve such a level. Super 4 plus Super Saiyan. This is the complete interpretation of the blood of his Super Saiyan to the fullest extent. Master Bupa. Suddenly, Son Gohan seemed to think of something, and Mushroom looked at Bupa and said, my Super Race God has entered the second stage. I call it Super Race God Pink. 5. Under the current circumstances, I should still be able to improve my combat power. If I can do it, my strength will be increased tenfold. While speaking, Son Gohan no longer hesitated, and immediately clenched his fists and exclaimed, ha! In the next second, Son Gohan's whole body can be seen to be violent, and a faint pink radiance can be seen faintly. Super Saiyan God Pink. This air is really strong. Seeing this situation, Broly and Bluolian exclaimed subconsciously, their eyes full of incredible colors. You must know that Son Gohan's power has already reached the level of 240 gully before. If this is increased tenfold, it will reach the level of 2400 gully. In that case, even within gods of destruction, it is a top-level existence. Suddenly, a scream resounded. Looking at the reputation, it can be seen that blood spurts out of Son Gohan's mouth, and the whole person's mouth keeps spurting blood. In the next second, the power of God surrounding him also withered, and the whole person directly returned to the appearance of Super 4. What's the matter? 99. What's the situation? Seeing this situation, Boluolian and Broly were stunned for a moment, and their eyes were full of doubts. Not only them, but also Bupa was showing confusion and doubts at the moment. After all, in such a situation, some things are really unbelievable. Cough cough tilde apostrophe. At this moment, Son Gohan's coughing sound resounded. It can be seen that the breath of his whole person is sluggish at the moment. After struggling to stand up, his face is pale. It's not possible. The power of my bloodline cannot control the power of Super Saiyan God Pink. I can only transform into a Super Race God in the case of Super 4, and I can't display the pink mode of the second stage. I see. Hearing this, Bupa was enlightened. No wonder Son Gohan was injured and encountered backlash. The authorship was due to the lack of blood power. Thinking of this, Bupa no longer hesitated, walked to the area where Son Gohan was, took out a fairy bin and threw it to him, and said, "Eat the fairy bin first." "Yes, Lord Bupa." After returning to his senses, Son Gohan's eyes were a little disappointed, but at this moment he also understood that there was no way. Reaching out his hand to take the fairy bin and swallowing it in his stomach, Son Gohan's breath soon returned to normal. Okay, after doing all this, Son Gohan looked at Bupa and said, "Master Bupa, is there a way to increase the strength of my bloodline?" Before Shenron said that his power could not help me raise my bloodline, but I was also a little unwilling to be reconciled to the dragon. 5. After all, Super Saiyan God Pink is 10 times the Super Saiyan God, and I don't want to give up such power. Hearing this, Bupa glanced at Son Gohan and said, "I can't do anything about blood unless you get the Super Dragon Ball, but the ownership of that thing is mine, and I need it to help Broly perfect his bloodline too. The evil of his Saiyan bloodline has appeared, and it must be eliminated with the power of Super Shenron." Super Shenron. Hearing this, Son Gohan's pupils shrank, and his breathing became quicker at this moment. There is really a way to make the bloodline stronger, although the Super Shenron Bupa needs to be used now, but what about later? If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. And join my Patreon if you want to support me, link is in the description. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.